coming at you.
Episode 22. We're back.
Engage.
Feels good, man.
Can you get your happy tissues off the table, please?
Oh, my bad. Excuse me. Anyways, welcome to the show. If you're a first-time listener, which you shouldn't be at this point since it's episode 22, this is the Infinite Weekend with myself, Josh, and Zachary.
Oh.
Say hello.
My full name. Yikes.
Yeah, well.
Am I in trouble?
No, you're good. Want to give a good shout-out to ourselves, actually, because we finally hit 750 downloads over.
Nice.
So we got a little achievement badge from our provider. Is that our? I guess it wouldn't be our provider. Our middle guy.
I have no idea.
Our uploader.
What is it called?
Buzzsprout,
whatever the fuck.
The Buzz.
Yeah.
So
Directory.
So thanks guys for listening and sticking with us for the 22nd week now of doing this.
Yep.
Shenanigan.
Like, subscribe, share, comment,
and follow.
Share 10,000 times.
Share 10,000 times. Yep. That's what we're trying to get to. We want. Well, actually, I think the goal would be try to get 1,000 listens an episode. Eventually,
yeah,
would be the goal. That's what Kylie asked me the other day. She was like, "How many do you need?" I said, "Well, 1,000 per episode is what we're up." She was like, "You're getting there," and I was like, "Okay, thanks."
Yeah, that's the next milestone or whatever, or that's the minimum that we're trying to get to.
That's the big one. If you want to, I think it's monetization. You actually start getting some qualm.
And then they're like, "Oh, yeah, sweet. Here's $5."
Yeah, right. Well, I mean, hey, yeah, exactly. They're like, now that you finally reached your true potential, here's a gift certificate.
Right. Exactly. Now you're a professional paid podcaster. Now, here's $5.
It'll probably be one of those little shitty like Visa.
Right.
They're like, this one isn't rechargeable,
or they give you like a coin, like when they give them out in AA or whatever. Right.
Oh, like an achievement coin.
Achievement coin.
But it's not even real gold.
Right.
It flakes.
It's plastic. Got a Cracker Jack box.
Yeah. Without the Cracker Jacks.
Didn't Cracker Jack didn't they stop making those? I think that
I think you can still get them like in those semi gift shops. You know how like at the little.
They're vintage now.
Yeah, I bet Cracker Barrel's got them.
Sorry,
are you pulling that up?
Yeah, I'm gonna pull this shit up because Cracker Jack
toys were always really shitty in them. Same thing. They used to put toys in cereal boxes.
Actually, I've already run into a snag, and it doesn't interest me enough to push forward through this search. So, all right.
Yeah, I don't like them anyway. They're not very
it's
good.
Crap anyway. Yeah, I've never really ate them. I mean,
I miss getting the toys, and the toys have gotten kind of shitty lately.
Well, yeah. I mean, all toys with food have gotten shitty.
I think the best ones whenever they did the gold Pokemon cards.
Oh yeah, that was
McDonald's. It was like a whole thing.
No, that was it McDonald's or was it Burger King?
Oh, you may be right.
Burger King had like the big kids.
A mighty kid meal?
Mighty Kids, Big Kids meal, BK.
Look that up.
BK,
Look
Big
that
Kids.
Up. Look that up if you don't mind.
Look that up.
I think
they had like the more premium toys. They had the better shit. Instead of like a little race car or something, it was like a Bionicle or something.
Bionicle. Is that the Lego dudes with the little masks? They had the different masks that gave them power, the Bionicles. Is that right?
Yeah, the Lego.
Oh, nice name drop. Yeah. They all had different weapons.
Big Kid meal.
Those were cool.
Big Kid meal. So McDonald's was the Mighty Kids meal.
Mighty Kids meal.
That was the Mighty Kids meal. It was introduced in 2001. And then what was the Burger King one? I want to say Burger King Big Kids meal. So you had the Mighty Kids meal, right? McDonald's, and then BK Burger King Big Kids meal.
BK Lounge.
I think Burger King may have started the thing. Let me see when they first started doing their thing.
Well, it all came out when that first Pokemon movie dropped.
Yeah, Burger King Big Kids meal was in '99 because I got a commercial about it. Want to listen to the commercial?
Yeah, put it on. Make sure your sound's up so this isn't awkward.
Burger King Big Kids meal. 1999 TV commercial.
I wish you knew how to use your tablet.
Shut up.
This ride's for big kids.
I got a Big Kids meal from Burger King.
What's that?
It's got more food.
Why's it got more food?
They look like pedophiles.
The tasty new
Yeah,
Burger
look
King
at Sunny
Big
D
Kids meal with
commercials.
more fun food, like 6-piece chicken tenders with gooey apple green slime dipping sauce.
Oh! Kid. Next.
So
Dipping some nuggets in some green sauce. What the fuck?
Then there's one more question.
Where can I get them?
Right now, every delicious Burger King Big Kids meal you buy comes with a Nickelodeon
and sweet
back-to-school
calculator.
supply, like the message center. You
Get to
can
pay
rest all
extra.
fine.
He's got a dry erase board.
On the calculator, a dry erase board?
No, the other kid had a dry erase board of this, so it was like toys for like future accountants or something. I don't know what the fuck that was.
Kids that need.
I'm gonna have to save this. I'll share that on Instagram later because it was stupid. I'm sorry, that did not entice me to go get Burger King at all, even if I was 12.
Hey, dude, they got them $1 like 10 nuggets. Those things are awesome.
Oh, Jesus.
Dude, look at this. Oh, wait, no, hold on. Look at this. Look at this McDonald's commercial from 1986. Hold on. There's a goofy ass ad. Since we're on the subject of McDonald's and BK, look at this.
University with Ronald McDonald.
Check out this dude.
Good morning, class.
Oh, Ronnie. Oh, the talking burgers.
Yeah, bro.
The Hamburglar.
I remember that shit.
Ooh, look at
The
this.
Hamburglar is very clever and very sneaky.
Oh, he's in the room.
Loves taking
Turn
McDonald's
around,
hamburgers.
Mick.
A criminal.
So
Criminals
what you
are
need
hot.
when you see it. That's right.
This is before clowns were like eating kids and shit, man.
You've got a lot to learn.
Don't take burgers, rubble, rubble.
See,
Here's the thing I
you
don't
know what
understand about the
You can't get-
Hamburglar.
That's so cool.
Here's the thing I don't understand about the Hamburglar.
What's that?
Is apparently like if he's burgling the place, why is he still wearing prison clothes?
He never got out. You can't take. It's like Prison Mike. You can't
He
take
just
that.
slapped on a fucking some eye coverings and then boom, now in a goofy hat.
Yeah, dude.
Like I would change. Like he should be wearing like a suit or something like that. I don't know why he's still in prison clothes. So
We
he's
should call him.
obviously very bad at it. He keeps getting caught.
And his wiggly ears, so you know he was a big hit. That's from getting him pulled on in prison. That's what
But
that
he
was.
wasn't bullied enough when he was younger. That's how you become the Hamburglar.
Yeah, or worse. We've seen the fruits of that labor.
Oh yeah, 100% or
That's
not.
why bullies are so important.
How did we get here? How do we get here on fucking Burger King and McDonald's commercials?
I brought up cool toys and we just, I don't know.
It's probably my fault. It was probably my fault. I brought up Cracker Jacks
That's
and
okay.
started Googling
Well,
Cracker Jacks.
I brought up the toys for fast food meals, so you're fine.
So,
You're all right.
all the dots are connecting.
Sorry. You're really
Sometimes I really don't know how we get into we start somewhere and then we're like on the other side of the planet within 5 minutes, and I don't even know how that happens sometimes.
I like it. Because my mind's full of thoughts all day that I have to just put to paper or
Yeah, I know.
try to pull from the rest of the day.
Yeah, and most of the time for the normies, I have to keep them in. I can't let them out because then I'll get weird looks. But
Yeah, you got to know your audience.
I'll have to be among friends in order to let the weird comments come out.
It's like the other day I was standing in the kitchen and I was listening to music, and I think we had just put Harper to bed. And I was just standing there and I was like, man, so you know what I miss? She said, what? I said, I miss a good old classic wet dream. She said, what? And I said, yeah, man. I said, y'all don't get to have those as women, I don't think. I said, but man,
I assume they do.
They warn you about those. They warn you about that in that same sex ed,
class.
the sex ed bit that I gave about
After you have
Hershey's
AIDS.
Kisses. After you get AIDS.
After you get AIDS from the kisses.
After you get AIDS from Hershey's Kisses, you can, and you clean up, a wart on your pecker, you can actually have a wet dream. Right. What's funny is they get to that subject and they're like,
those were all prerequisites to having the wet dream.
Yeah. So she's like, yeah, you'll also have a wet dream. And they're like, it's like a nocturnal emission. You're like, oh, what? And of course, when you're like,
Which sounds like a
young,
band.
Yeah, you're like nocturnal emission. Yeah. So she's describing, and they're like, yeah, whatever, and then you'll have like a release. And I'm like, oh, we're like at this point, you're like, what? Mm-hmm. What? So
I like the way that's like the polite way of phrasing having an orgasm is like, you'll have a release. Yeah, release and come from my balls.
I was supposed to believe she said that.
It's just such a weird way
She's like,
to
you're
say
going
it
to
to
jizz
me.
all over yourself.
Right.
If people are still saying jizz, I don't know if they're saying that. But you're going to come all over yourself.
It just sounds creepy the way they say release.
Release. You're going to have a bucket of chicken and a full release.
Right.
So,
Exactly.
So, of course, when you do that, you're like, okay. And if they tell you that, you're like, yeah, it's not going to happen to me. Like, it's nothing. You're like, whatever. So, I finally had one when I was a kid, and they're like, if you need help doing laundry, just ask your mom. We're like, what? No. Like, hey, I made a mess of my sheets, Mom.
Everything's sticky.
Everything's sticky. So you have one. Of course, it's somewhat, you wake up, it's kind of terrifying because you don't really know what's going on. You wake up a mess. Mm-hmm. So especially if you don't wake up instantly from it, you have to wake up hours on into the night. So you
you
wake
don't want
up.
to be like stuck to your sheets.
You're like, you're like half moist, half crusty at this point. So you're like, I don't know what's going on. Yeah. So you have to like get all that off, and you're just like, was there an accident? Clean all of it up. But then you have them later on as an adult. You can anticipate. You know this is not a mystery. Where you're like, I know what's about to happen. She was like, "Why would you bring that up?" And I was like, "Because I said I said when you tell me no, I can just have my own thing."
Right.
So I told her, I was like, I need to have another one soon.
I don't think we've talked about this before off the pod, but I don't think I've ever had one. If I've had one, I don't remember it.
It's pretty cool.
And I feel like there would be something that's something I would remember.
Yeah, because the bad thing is you'll know you're getting one. If you're having relations with whoever, usually it's with with a random person. It's very I find it to be odd that it's ever with a dream about your spouse. Sorry, culture shock people, or it's somebody you've never met in your life. It's almost like deja vu. But then you end up, what's about to happen, but you have there's a point of where you're like, I can stop this at any time. But then sometimes you're like, I'm going to see it through.
Right. And like I said, I don't think
I've met people that have never had one.
I've had, of course, everyone's had a sex dream.
Of course.
I've had some that are like, if I was going to have a nocturnal emission, it was going to be during this dream. And I recently had one where I didn't have a wet dream. It didn't morph into wetness.
You didn't finish.
I didn't finish, right.
Yeah.
But, sometimes you have a sex dream and it's like, it's almost like you're just watching a movie. I don't know.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
There's some sex dreams that are better than others. And
so you basically disappointed your female in your dream.
That always happens, whether it's vivid or not.
She woke up disappointed, but she's not real.
Right. I'm disappointing imaginary women as well. Actually, that's not true. That whoever it is that you're having sex with in your dream is a real person. I ran into a YouTube video.
Let's get into sex dreams.
But this is real. This actually makes sex dreams even more interesting. Kind of fucked up. Is your brain cannot. This is on YouTube, so I know it's true. Your brain cannot manifest a face. They can't concoct one on its own.
Okay.
Right? Whenever you're dreaming and you see a person, someone you don't fucking know, it's just a face. It could just be a passerby. It could be, say you're the store and a clerk, or it could be someone you're having sex with, whatever, in your sex dream. You have at some point seen that face.
Okay.
Either on TV, or it could have been just walking down the street and you catch a glimpse of somebody, and for a second, just like normal, like nothing spectacular about them. It just, just as you're walking by, people are in your field of view, and your brain registers it. It goes back there in the memory banks, and then it never gets recalled except whenever you're having a sex dream.
Well, men have that system that we process. All females run through.
That's an active system. This is a passive system.
Yeah, but you're still pulling information from that active system probably throughout the night.
Yeah, the active system is, you're like trying to study and visually scan.
Okay, so in case you guys don't know what an active system is on men, and if any man denies it, they're lying. You have a system that processes every woman you meet.
Yes, everyone goes through the system.
Goes through the system of, I wonder if they'd be a good lay.
Right.
It's quick. That's it. It's quick. It's a quick system, and you have a couple of files that it could go to, and then you run it real fast.
Right. It's like TSA. Everybody's got to go through the scanner. Yep. Some people get pulled to the side, and they got to get scanned again. That's it.
Some get thrown out, and you're clear to go.
Some put your shoes back on. And
it's everybody. Out. It's
everybody's got to go.
It's everybody. Mine. Yeah. It's everyone.
Right. Everyone's got to go through it, and it's just a thing. So I'm not. And so when you're having a sex dream, or having a dream of any kind, and there's strangers in your dream, people you don't know, then it could be someone that you just walk past.
Have you ever had a deja vu moment where you ran into one of them?
And after I had a dream,
you're like, "Oh, fuck that chick."
Oh, I'm sure.
But she doesn't know who you are.
Those are weird. Whenever you have a weird sex dream and then you ran into a person,
yeah, because
one of them.
You're like, last night was kind of awkward, and they're like, "What?"
Yes, that has happened.
You were really good last night,
right? But and then some of them, yes, some of them are like watching a movie. You're just kind of there. I don't know. You're kind of in it. You're not really. It's almost
behind the scenes.
Yeah, it's just it's quick. There's not really much going on. I mean, it's a sex dream, but it's almost like I said, like watching a movie. You're not really in it. You know what I mean? You're more observing it happening. If that makes sense. You're like kind of a free floating like spirit watching you fuck this stranger.
That's what married sex is.
So it is.
It's just a free. It's just like a movie.
But every once in a while you'll get one, and it feels like you're in Inception, like you're in a vivid dream and you're in it, right?
Yeah.
And I had one like that. A couple nights ago.
Last
I don't
night?
think it wasn't last night.
Okay.
No, it wasn't last night. It was no, it was last night because I know what interrupted it. Okay.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it was last night, and it was I don't know who it was. Some random female was.
Let's give her a name.
Sure, Rachel.
No, I have
You
a
don't
cousin
like
named Rachel.
Okay, I think you need a better one. Let's see, Serena.
Oh, nice. Blessed be the fruit.
Blessed be the fruit.
Okay, go
May
ahead.
the Lord open. So she, we didn't go to full penetration yet, but we was fooling around, and then she starts giving me a blowjob, and
That's awesome.
it was like my dick was made of candy. She was enjoying herself down there, and
Was she moaning?
Oh yeah, she was just. I don't want to like
You
pantomime
almost
the
did
sounds.
it.
I almost
You
did it.
almost really did. Pull up a video. Let's see.
Slurp-
No, don't do that.
Slurping
We
sounds.
said we were
Sorry.
going to bring that up in this episode.
Right, we got to get off the porn. Wet dreams as far as we're going to go.
This is as far as I'm going. This is as far as I'm
But
going.
it was visceral, and I was like,
You actually-
It was like I was in, but I was in point of view mode too. So I was,
Wow.
I was like looking down, watching this happen, and of
Yeah.
course, I was a lot more endowed than I actually am.
Did
right?
you have a beard?
Did I have a beard in my dream? I think I always have a beard in my dream. Shut up.
You're like, I had a beard and a hammer on me. Like, okay. Huh?
Right, a beard and a hammer. That's all I want.
That's all I want.
But yeah, so she was going to town with this thing, and it was one of those vivid dreams where I was like, I could feel it, and no, I could feel I could feel the seas rising. You know what I'm saying?
shit.
And I'm about to like, oh
Yeah.
and then all of a sudden I wake up.
America.
Yeah, and dude, she's having the time of her life. It's like her favorite
So
activity.
we know this is a dream.
To blow me.
That's
right?
how we know
That's
this is a
basically
dream.
like how it's going down.
Yeah.
Exactly. I know that's how I know it's fake. So anyway, I'm like, I wake up, and it's because I didn't go to work today, and I have my Roomba vacuum set at a certain time, and so it woke me up, and the goddamn robot interrupted my sex dream. And of course, I turn it off, and I've like send it back to
try to
the
get
home
back-
base.
to try to get
and
back
I
to
lay
her?
back down. I'm trying to like sleep.
Come back to me. Come back to me.
And I couldn't. I was already awake. I couldn't go back.
That's why you need to
Sometimes you can. I've done that.
Oh, I've
before.
done that. I've tried to venture back in, like the Matrix,
Sometimes-
like plug me back in.
Yeah, exactly. Send me back in, Morpheus. I gotta
Hurry.
finish.
Not this time. Yeah.
She's the one.
It's like that. What was that Android movie that was Wife-like? That's what you need to get. A smoking hot Android.
That's just I'm not sure how I feel about the sex robot thing. Revolution. I know it's
Whoa,
coming.
whoa.
Here's
hold. First off, you would try it, and I know you would.
Oh yeah, 100%. But here's
Because I'd probably buy you one. Kylie and I will buy you one.
Okay, all right. Yeah, I would take out a mortgage if it was like super lifelike. But here's anyway, be that as may. As it currently stands right now, it's just a fleshlight that walks around and talks.
Yeah. No, it's not.
You know
we're
what I
not.
mean?
We're not there yet.
The where
We're
it is
not
right
there
now,
yet.
I'm like, it's creepy.
Yeah, it's like making a profile.
I'm not into that.
Yeah.
No. It's like, I know. But talk about like the fucking human race would collapse if they ever made android sex robots that were like really lifelike.
Oh yeah, like the movies.
Right. And they were like freaks. I'm sorry, but men are disgusting. We're all the same in general.
I don't think women would order one if they
They
could
probably
either.
would too. Yeah, but they would like make it like do dishes and shit.
No, they
like
wouldn't.
that.
They'd have some
And then have
crazy
sex with
ones.
it.
They'd have some crazy ones.
Right.
Yeah. They're just as promiscuous as we are.
Yeah, but men and women are different, and we would treat it differently. As far as we would no longer have any need to go out and communicate
Truthfully, I would
with
probably,
the opposite sex.
truthfully,
If it got super realistic.
the way I currently am now, I'd probably put it to work before I would that. I'd have it out like cutting grass.
Well, yeah, I mean, you can't just like
I probably wouldn't.
it can't be a 24/7 fuck fest. That
No, I got to work.
exhausting.
I got to
Right.
work. Now you could bring it to work with you.
Exactly, but oh yeah, I'd rather have a robot that would like do my job for me.
That'd be cool.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Is the birth rate in Western civilization, it's already down as it is just from everything else because you know, I mean, even stuff that's innocuous and innocent, like the birth control pill. I mean, that has created a decrease in the birth rate because people can control it, right? And of course, you know, abortion is very prolific, and then which I don't want to get into all that. And then also, people are just not having as much kids because they
Well,
don't
they're
want
having
to.
kids later.
Or they're having kids later.
Yeah.
There's also, there's evidence about the food that we're eating that's creating fertility issues. So there's just multiple things that has created a birth rate crisis in the West, right? In our society, Western society, with developed countries. And inventing realistic sex robots is not going to fucking help that endeavor at all.
We go from Cracker
awful.
Jack boxes to
Sex-
Pokemon
to sex robots.
sex robots.
Yeah, we even threw in a little kids
Kids
McDonald's commercial in there.
Jesus Christ, 2 of them.
And it's only been 20 minutes.
Yeah, we're getting it. We're getting it in. Well, it's funny you bring up decline and all that stuff. I was thinking this the other day. That's why I took notes on it to talk about. I was like, what happened to, when you're growing, like going up through high school and coming out and like you have like career goals. Because I always make jokes to Kylie. I'll be like, yeah, that's when I used to have a career ambition.
Right.
But
So young and full of life, that'll
fade. And then, but I was like, really, we only know like one dude that like followed his career path and actually does it.
I know several people.
Do you know people? I only know one.
Yeah, I know several people that like.
But it's funny how like you have these dreams to
they did it.
to be a certain thing, and then when as you get older, you're like, well, that don't really pay very much. You're like, well, I can really do anything with that, and then it totally like.
Yeah, I think it's maybe it's just a difference between I guess taking control of every situation or just going with the flow, and I think a lot of people just kind of like just settle with the flow. I don't know if it's necessarily settling. It's just. It's going with the flow. I like that. Going with the flow. When things pop up, you make a choice. Either do I go hang out with the friends or I stay in and study this or whatever, right? Everybody would rather go out and hang out, right? So I think it's just small choices over time. You just kind of like lean toward a certain direction. Some people are fucking steadfast. Everything else is secondary.
Yeah,
I'm gonna be this thing,
Boring.
and nothing's gonna fucking stop me. And I know several people that are like that, and but they had to make sacrifices, and a lot of people, most people, are not willing to make those sacrifices. I think that is where it comes down to.
Yeah,
is they're not really willing to make to sacrifice the daily pleasures of life or whatever in order to reach that goal 5 years from now. We just don't think that far. I think that's the majority of it.
I'm one day at a time.
Yeah, right. And see, we're one day at a time as far as instinct, right? But other people are one day at a time as far as attaining their goals, and that just ain't me, bro.
Yeah, I don't have time for that. I literally almost just fell asleep when you start talking about.
Yeah, I know. Like exactly.
What's your 5-year plan?
I'm boring myself.
Yeah, I'm like.
Yeah, I know. But also, the people used to ask that shit in like when I was a junior in high school.
What's that?
Like, what's your plan? Like, get out of here? I don't
get laid. I mean, like.
I'm just trying to finger fuck people.
I'm just trying to make out with chicks.
What are you talking about?
That's as simple as it was.
What's my 5-year plan?
I mean, that's really what it was. Like that
was.
That sounds fucked up, but that's really what it was. Like at junior, you said junior year. Oh, bro, I was like, I just wanted to hang out with my friends, girlfriend at the time, make out, go to a little sporting thing, and then work. That's it. To put gas in my car to go to the next thing, hang out with my buddies.
Oh yeah, that wasn't concerned
17
with career.
Junior year was that's a special time.
And even the career that I have now, I just kind of stumbled into it. It wasn't like I sought it out.
Yeah,
either.
I did too.
So,
same thing.
I mean, it worked out. So that's what I'm saying. I feel like most people just kind of are stumbling through it.
That's all it is.
You know what I mean? And some choices that pop up in front of them, and they make the wrong choice. Sometimes they make the right choice, and they just roll with it. They're not planning this stuff out. I don't think people generally do.
I kind of did. Like I wanted a wife, kid, and
those are broad goals, but you didn't have a plan necessarily to get there.
Well, it
wasn't until you met
like,
Kylie, then it all presented itself.
Yeah. Well, I mean, my whole thing was like, in high school, I even decided like I wanted what my dad had. Like I wanted an 8 to 5 wife and a family.
Right.
Like so I was like, well, I have to get a job obviously to do so.
Right.
So then I just kind of pursued that and stumbled into making money, obviously, but like. Then the rest just kind of came together. So I had somewhat of an idea what I wanted to do.
Yeah, you had general overarching goals for life.
And I did have career.
I
had some career goals. Like I wanted to be a cop for a little while, and then that didn't work out or whatever. And then other stuff too. But then I just fell into what we do now.
Yeah, but you got those people, the ones that actually like are what you're talking about. They set out when they knew they were. Real young. They wanted to do
cool.
a thing.
Yeah, it's cool.
So once they got to a position to where they had to start making choices, they started playing out. It was like, I have to be done with this in 4 years, and then after that, I'm moving on this and this, and they've got like all mapped out. And of course, shit happens, and they have to kind of whatever maneuver. But they knew all the steps, and I don't think that I'm not the type of person that I just have overall goals where I want to get, but I'm not necessarily planning out all the steps. Maybe that's the problem.
I just want to have fun. That's my
I
problem.
Get
I just want to have fun
get
all the
frustrated
time.
easy.
Yeah, I do too. Oh, you know me. Fuck.
Oh, yeah.
I'm either really having a great time or I'm really fucking mad. So
There is no in between.
There's no in between. There's only, yeah. So that's what I want to do. All the time.
I think my problem is I'm pretty even keel most of the time.
Yeah.
But I think that's part of the problem is I never get. As soon as something starts to frustrate me, I'm like, I don't like to waller in frustration and and you start not necessarily depressed, but get the mopes or whatever about something. I don't like to be in that state, so I just pull the ripcord and just evacuate from the whole thing. You know what I'm saying? So I don't push through.
Mine aren't mopes. Mine are anger. I get my anger blanket on. That's what I do.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So
yeah.
Oh, other exciting news is I'm going back. I'm going back to Vegas.
Oh yeah, we did get the news. I still need to talk to the boss man, but
you had coffee. I'm sorry for that hand slap. That was rough.
I was worried about the whole situation.
Yeah, I actually forgot we had everything. My bad. Vegas brings it out of me.
Right.
I overreacted probably in that meeting.
Listening to this episode, they have like earbuds in. You may have blew out their eardrums.
That's fine.
Sorry.
Pay attention. Wake up.
But
we know you're listening.
I have to hear what that looks like on the mic because I can see on the sound wave right here. It's like
it can't be any worse than a smoke detector.
No, that's true. Yeah, we've had a lot of crazy shit going on the last couple of episodes.
But anyways, we're going back.
Yeah, so you got the call.
I got the call that I'm going back.
You're going back to the same time next year, right? Roughly.
Yeah,
and I have not been selected to go back yet. But
you're coming with.
I
got you to go last time.
I know. Well, so what we may have to do, let's say I don't get selected to go. I have to sit at home.
Loser.
I'm not fucking sitting at home. I will just use that as a vacation opportunity.
And just come with me.
And you do the whole first part, right? And so I probably won't come during that because you got to do whatever. But the work and everything, the conference, all that kind of crap. But I'll do the tail end of it. I'll just meet you out there halfway.
Right.
And then we'll tear shit up.
No, I think it'll be fine. So all of our Vegas listeners, which I know we have some, we're coming back, baby. Yep. We're coming back.
Yep. Part deux.
Yeah. No, it's gonna be. I'm really excited.
Yeah, we can really kind of cut loose on this time. We had to be a little,
Oh, I'm going into it now. A somewhat seasoned. I know a little bit.
Yeah, and I can definitely, get real schlickered up and wander the streets.
You're going to go first,
Vegas,
and then I'll catch
super
up.
hammered. Yeah. Sometimes I'm amazed at. I'm going to shit on you a little bit.
Shit on me.
Shit on me. Sometimes because when we've drank on the pod before, out and about,
just a few times, really.
Yeah,
I don't do it so much.
Sometimes I don't know if it's like my tolerance is like abnormally high or yours is just abnormally low.
Mine is abnormally low.
But I'm just amazed. Like it's like how quickly you get there.
Yeah. So mine is abnormally low because I don't do it ever.
Right.
And normally in this day and age, most people probably have drinks on the weekend at least once a weekend. Like someone probably has a beer of some kind every weekend. Yeah. I would feel most people. I don't drink but probably once. I haven't gotten tipsy. Hard tipsy probably since Vegas when we went in June.
Well, so when we were drinking on the pod,
a
few episodes back, and we had the beer buckets and everything like that. I think it was when Kylie was over that episode.
Yeah.
And I think you had like 3 beers that night.
It may have been 3,
something like that.
And there
was one point, you had a buzz, and at one point,
it's just a small buzz.
I looked across the way, and you had like the half drunk eyes.
Yeah.
I was like. And
I'm sitting down.
Yeah, and
it hits differently.
Yeah,
but like I can, like if sitting here, if I was to drink a 6-pack, you'd be
bouncing off the walls.
I'd be really drunk.
Yeah,
like it doesn't take, like when we were in Vegas and we were going to the evening festivities.
Yeah,
and I was like, I'm nervous. I'm gonna go get some drinks. I had 2 mixed drinks, 2 Crown and Sprites, back to back, pow pow, because I was nervous. And I was
evening festivities. You were nervous, so you drank. That could mean one of two. That could mean multiple things.
Well,
to clarify.
We'll just let people.
We were going to the.
Let them go where they want. So
Jesus Christ.
So like those two drinks, I was already like buzzing hard. But I know how to. But when people say that though, they'll be like this, like he's a scrub. Let's get him drunk. Like I'm like, no, that's being.
Yeah.
Having a low tolerance just means I'm still smart about it. Like I'm not.
You know where your limit is. Just lower.
Like I don't go into it like I'm not a virgin drinker where I'm like I don't know how many I should have. Drink more and then like, oh, I don't know. Does this mean I'm drunk? Like no. I know what I have parameters set. Like I know when I've had too much and like I know when to stop because all it does is suck happiness from the next day.
Yes.
But it's not just you. Like my brother's the same way. People around me that I've had drinks with have to drink before me, and then I catch up fast.
I've observed your drinking behavior.
That's correct.
And know when you get there, so I know exactly how many drinks would be too many, and I'm going to get you there. I'm going to push you past that.
No, people have tried,
and you won't know it.
I've watched people try. I have seen them do it, and I'll actually pretend I'm getting there. And then whenever everybody's like, yeah, and I'll be like, I'll feel great the next day. I'll be at the gym at 6.
Are you just so are you just don't want to be hammered? Is it the sucking happiness from the next day? What's your hesitation?
My hesitation is because I know what happens the next day. So like I know for me when I get the sways, like if I'm standing straight up and I sway forward, and I'm not even keel, I know that's when I immediately have to stop. Because if I go past that, it's going to be horrible the next day.
Is it Blackout City?
No, it's not blackout. It's just miserable the next day. It's headaches. It's a bad hangover. So I don't do that.
You just don't like the hangover.
I don't like a hangover. Okay. Because I don't like the feeling, even when I'm sick, I don't like not being able to do my normal activities. So to me, it's not worth the night before, like, and then being miserable the next day.
Yeah, but like once in a blue moon.
Oh, no, yeah. Like I felt shitty that night when we stayed up till 5 in the morning. So I felt that was worth it.
So
it has to be really worth it.
So like obviously don't.
Now a little one's fine, but I've never been blackout, like where I don't remember what I did that night. I don't want to do that.
Those are generally
to me that seems childish. Well, like I don't want to do that. Those are harder. I'm too old for that shit.
Well, those are harder to accomplish either anyway. Just especially for someone who's not necessarily an experienced drinker, you just have to just go way past your limit.
But if the energy's right, like if you're my hype man and we're drinking, if there's energy, I'm in it.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I'm in it.
I want to get you I'm going to get you to the point, and it'll happen. I know it'll happen at some point, probably on this Vegas trip. This one we could really cut this. I'm going to get you to that point to where you no longer are able to keep track. And
I've had that
even
happen
if you
once.
could keep track, you don't give a fuck.
There's been one of those.
You talking about the energy, it's hype. It was like, shots, let's go, like that whole thing.
Well,
and you'll do it.
My first hangover I ever got was kind of like that. I had never really had a bad hangover, but I went to a party with my now wife. We went to a party one night, and then like it was like, here's some beers. We did that. I was like, okay. Well, then the party kind of like picked up, got a little hype. I was like, okay, cool, this is cool. And like it kept going, and people were like, "Hey, man!" And they hand you drinks, and they're like, "Hey, let's do these shots." And I'm like, "Yeah, fuck it!" And like hammer those down. And then shit tasted weird. And I was like, "I don't know if I like that one." So, keep doing it, and then like
water.
I didn't realize. Yeah,
fuck the water.
It's just ice cube. Bring me wine. And I didn't realize that like I had several shots plus beer, and dude, the sway. I was like, I ended up. I don't know what happened. I ended up having my shirt off, walking around the bar, trying to get Kylie to do a body shot off of me. Because I saw other people doing it, and I was like, "Do it off me!"
Yeah.
And then I was like, "It's time." It's time to go. I'm like, "Yeah, we have to get the fuck out of here." So that was my first time having. But there again, I was like 22, first hangover. Like I just didn't get involved in all that shit.
I've already like pissed like 2 couches by then.
So yeah, like I don't know. Like I'm not even a casual drinker now. Like. I mean, I had that beer on the show 2 episodes ago when I had a couple beers with you, but like, I just don't like if it was a normal like tonight, if we were hanging out, and someone's like, "Hey man, you want a beer?" Like, or do you want a cup of coffee? I would take the coffee in a heartbeat over a beer. Like I just don't. It has to be something going on. Like, want to go to Vegas? Yeah. Like I'm gonna prep knowing that I mean, we drank the whole time we were there.
Yeah, this will be where we are completely different as far as
I'm going into this. I know my menu a lot better now. And when I say menu, I mean I know the menu a lot better now.
Okay.
So I know what to order. Mm-hmm. So, yeah,
I'll just talk about beer like I want one right now.
I'm going into it knowing and somewhat seasoned now. I know what I want and what I expect out of this trip. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So hopefully, Lord willing, we'll get to go and
don't bring him into this.
He won't be present there. I hope not. I already have enough explaining to do. I made that joke one time to a friend of mine. I was like, he cracked up. He was kind of a little more religious than me, but I was like, man. I said, I got a lot of explaining to do when I get up there at the gate. I said, but man, if he's got a tablet, I'm gonna hope they put me at the back of the line, because if I'm up front, y'all gonna be waiting a long time.
Yeah, I need to observe a little bit and just be like how everybody else is doing it.
Yeah.
And I'll be like, ooh,
He's gonna be like, so it says here you searched. Were you just like a what is this?
I would be like, it'd be like the kid scrambling to do his homework as the teacher is like taking it up that morning because you forgot to do it. I would be that guy, but at the pearly gates, I'm like trying to come up with a good excuse.
There'll be another line for me that's like, it just has a big question mark, and I'm like, fuck, that's probably me,
right?
And they'll be like, whoever just said fuck in the line.
Yeah,
I'm like,
exactly.
That's me.
I'm definitely not going to be a TSA pre-check. I'm
no.
definitely got to go.
I'm going to be shoes off. They're going to pull. Can you step aside if you don't mind, Mr. Mayor?
Exact cavity search. They're going to drive through my bag. The whole thing.
It's going to be
Sir, yeah, I would say so. I'll get in, but it's going to be a deal. It's going to be a whole.
It's not going to be a trial
process.
deal. I mean, it's one or the other, but it's going to be like, okay, but.
It's one of those things where I could slip up and say the wrong thing. I could be like, hello. Or
I don't want to. Yeah, exactly.
Allah Akbar or whatever. Nope. Out of here.
You almost had it. And then me will be
as a joke. I would do it as a joke.
Yeah, then I'll be laughing out loud in the line. They'll be like, you too.
Get out of here.
Straight to hell. We see you back there. Like, shit. Just like in a meeting now. Like, don't look at me. Don't look at me. Yep.
Crack a few jokes and then you get misunderstood. End up in hell.
No.
Yeah, that would happen.
But then you end up just coming back here. You just don't know that's what it is.
Yeah, that's what. Yeah, right.
The whole time. That's hilarious. That's me. That's me. You're good.
You?
That's good.
Oh, okay.
What is?
You got a staticky cord.
Hold on.
I apologize for my friend. Pull it out. There we go.
He's an idiot.
You can tell we're really technically savvy. I'll clean it up in post.
Actually, we pretty are. It's what's paid for this house and my house. So doing something right.
Yeah, that's right.
Doing something right.
Whatever. We're just faking it till you. Everyone is faking it till they make it.
Oh, funny little thing. So I was at my folks' house the other day, last weekend. And,
keep telling that story. I'm going to grab a beer since I've been talking about it.
Yeah, go ahead, get you one. Thank you. And because you can still hear me from in there. Yeah, sure. So I went and she, one of my parents' friends come out, family friend, by the way, that's known me since I was, a wee child, was like, hey, I just started listening to your podcast. And I'm like, oh, I don't know if that's good. Because, it's weird because they've known me since I was, and their age group, by the way, is, parent age group, whatever.
I was like, my sister told me that she listens to the pod. I was like,
yeah, so whatever. And then she was like, I was like, thanks, but I don't know if you should listen to this because you know me since I was a baby. Yeah. And she was like, it's been really, she's like, it's hilarious. And but then she was like, the only thing I've really said is, I didn't know that about Josh. And I'm like, I know. So, it is what it is. Like, you put it out there.
I had that same thought when my sister told me that she starts listening to the pod. And she's, for context, she's like 15 years older than me, something like. Anyway, she's different generation older than me.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm not sure some of these stories I've ever told her. But then I realized, like, I say nasty shit to her all the time.
Terrible.
It don't matter.
I say gross shit. Like
I try to say the most absurd, nasty, gross thing just to gross her on purpose.
See, like,
so it's fine.
My household, like we Kylie and I are pretty. She's been on the show. Like, we're pretty gross. She's like, just like talking to you. We're always all disgusting all the time. Not in front of the baby, but just gross. So I told, and that's what's funny is you, especially the way you talk like that. I'll scroll through, Facebook, and some people make these posts that are my same age or kids I graduated with or whatever, and they're making like all these like their grammar's good, like they're making like these adult statements, and I'm over here like, you got this cool shit. This guy like trips on his skates and busts his face. I'm like, loser,
right?
Like, so I'm still like trying. I'm like, am I ever gonna grow out of that? Probably not.
Yeah, I'm still basically like a 14-year-old with middle class income.
Oh yeah, dude. I stopped my whole stopped at like 17, 18 years old. Like I'm trapped there.
My humor's still the same.
Still the
I just
same.
now have more
I have more access and money
experience
to it.
Yeah, more access to money, and I have
Yeah.
more experience to be able to contribute into the same humor. Right?
Oh yeah, like
That's all it is.
it gets better too when you're a parent because your kid ends up doing silly shit that you
Right.
still think is hilarious.
Right.
Like I told that story when we punked our daughter in the car that day. Yeah, I think I told it one episode. It's where she was back there and she said, "Well, what?" She had a little smart ass attitude because she's 6 now, so she knows everything. And she was like, "Well, where are we going?" I looked at Kylie and I was like, "We're going to Nunya." That's what she was like. What's Nunya? And Kylie were like, "None your business." We like high five, and she's all like, like it just didn't it didn't hit the same way we thought it did.
Right.
Like I felt like I was in the cafeteria, but you won't hit him. Like so. That's what they crunked to him the other day. He's like, "That's your entire persona. That's what you're looking for."
Yeah.
So
Yep. Yeah. Speaking of like with our humor and bridge the gap here with our earlier conversation about the pearly gates, it's like that's probably what like they'll bring up like a slideshow. And it'll be like, you made jerk off references 38,000 times. You made
porn references.
right,
Yeah.
exactly.
Well, I try to be.
You uttered gay about 22,000 times, right?
In one day.
In one day, right? It'll be a whole like thing. They'll pull up like the spreadsheet, like stats
I mean, I know we talk
of
about
our absurd humor.
we talk about gross stuff, but like this is shit that people still do. Like I'm just more open about it.
I know everybody's so uptight.
Everybody's so
Don't be
uptight. I'm like, it's anytime you bring up anything like that, everybody's just like, ew. I'm
Right.
like,
Right.
Why are you so boring?
I thought about this the other day about how the generation that we grew up, right, that raised us,
Yeah.
they had a whole different outlook on. It was just a different culture. I think it's because they didn't have social media, so they were less connected than obviously they are now.
but have better friends.
Well, what I mean is like manners were probably more important back then. People were not, like, that's not something you should say in public. You can't say that, right? That's not right. And in the movies and stuff like that, you wouldn't see, a rated R movie would have that's the one you would have the F-bombs. You would never fucking hear it in a PG-13 movie, right? And then in general conversation, people are not cussing as much as they do now. I feel like people in even normal conversations,
I do.
well-meaning, normal, average people are saying cuss words that I would never fucking hear.
My parents cussed. There was certain words like.
Well, I know that everybody, there's different people who are different, but what I'm saying is, like, in general,
Oh, yeah,
society
okay.
at large,
Yeah, you're probably right.
Is that we drop the F-bomb like it's nothing.
Oh yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
it's no big deal.
But that was like when that word came out in the previous generation to me, right? It had some heat on it because you don't say it all the time.
Somebody said, "Fuck
it
you."
has lost right. Now it's lost all its power. And so I feel like this generation, probably like I said, social media has just made it worse because people just say the most awful stuff to each other online. I think that bleeds over into real life, and people, it's these cuss words are no longer really cuss words. It's just part of our vocabulary now.
I told Kyle.
You know what I mean?
I told Kyle that's why couples don't want to hang out with us because like all my kids I graduated with, they're a little more proper than our family. They're
I
like,
think you're just ahead of the curve.
they probably heard of this podcast. They're like, I don't want to hang out with that psycho. He's gonna say fuck in front of my kids,
Right.
And talk about getting a blowjob or jerking off in the shower. I don't want to talk about that.
But you see more kids like have. I can guarantee you, whenever I was like 12, I did not have the extensive vocabulary that a 12-year-old has now.
Oh no,
You know what I'm saying? That's
yeah.
what I'm getting at. Is that the cuss words are now a lot more prolific, and the stuff that these kids know these days and are exposed to. I mean, some of it's bad, obviously, like on the porn side, but they're just exposed to so much more so fast at an earlier and earlier age that we weren't necessarily.
Yeah.
So I think that going forward, cuss words and kind of saying exactly what you mean in a not necessarily pleasant way, trying to sugarcoat it, is going to become more and more and more common. Where people are just going to say exactly. I think this is we're going through a phase like after talking to when Jacko, he was on the pod, right? I think that's how they talk to each other, the way he talks.
Yeah, English,
to us. Right?
That's what someone brought when I watched the interview with Matt Smith and Jimmy Fallon. Somebody commented and said it's nice to see an Englishman cuss like we normally do in our everyday dialogue. He actually did the way he does in normal conversation at home. He did on the show.
Right.
So yeah, they're verbiage is a lot different than ours. They're a
they've-
little more open and cuss.
Well, they've gone even further past just using cuss words, normal cuss words in everyday conversation, to where that's already gotten boring. Now they have to come up with even more slang and cuss words that I don't even fucking know what they are. Doesn't even make sense to me. To where they can string them all together in this nice poetic.
I like
tongue lashing.
I cuss quite a bit, but I like it because for me, I use it in story context on here. We use it in our conversation, but I don't overdo it. I don't like over cussing where it's not needed.
Yeah, you don't need. And
it's like bad storytelling. I don't. Yeah.
Well, no, like I'm in a business. If you're in a business setting,
of
obviously you're not
course,
going to say it.
Yeah.
But even still, sometimes even in a business setting, and you're out, and it depends on how the person you're interacting with in a business sense, and if you're just kind of having drinks after a meeting or whatever.
Yeah.
Or you're, at a work conference, or, you run into someone that you only associate with in business outside of work. I hear that cuss words more often. I even hear them more often during like keynote addresses when we go to conferences and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying?
It makes it special for me.
Yeah, I think it's just those words are no longer. They're just now going to fit into our normal vocabulary. I'm not saying fuck. I'm stuff like shit, ass, not necessarily bitch. I feel like
taint,
that was
balls.
Taint, balls. Scrote.
Butthole.
Right.
All the
Twat.
Sorry.
Right. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Asshole. I hear that one all the time.
Right.
Jackass. Right?
That's a good one.
Those aren't really to me. When I hear someone says jackass, that's not a cuss word to me anymore. You know what I mean?
No, that's not. That's no. Damn,
If
it's not a cuss word.
someone's being a jackass, that's the only thing to call them. They're being a jackass.
Yeah.
I can't. What am I going to say?
There's some I don't like. There's some I use a lot that I really enjoy. Yeah, I don't know why Millie went to that.
I don't know. I remember having a conversation about like preferred cuss words.
Yeah.
It was when I was in the service industry, working at a restaurant bar, and there was we were in a group and we were all talking about like our favorite cuss words, and someone asked me, was like, so which word do you prefer? Do you like dick or do you prefer cock? And I was like, I prefer cock. And of course everybody was like,
yeah, okay, yeah. You're like, okay, I got it.
I was just had a deja vu the last time I had a conversation about cuss words.
That's pretty good, though.
I was like, I should have known that was coming.
Speaking of how you did that, which one do you like better? You saw that thing I sent you guys in the group where that dude fucked his mom?
Oh, yeah. It's like, I hate those. Would you
rather? That's why I brought up. I was like, this dude made his decision.
Those are some of the worst ones. I think that one probably is the worst one.
The worst one is would you rather?
Well, so if anybody doesn't know what the game we're talking about, there's a game that's would you rather, and you get two choices. And the two choices are awful. There's no right answer. It's really just a test to see where someone's psychology is, and then it's always funny whenever someone tells that choice. The rationalization and the explanation of why they would made that choice is more entertaining.
I'm not giving any answer to what I would say in this show. It's not going to happen.
The worst one, go ahead and hit him with it.
The worst one is, would you rather suck your dad's dick or fuck your mom?
Right. That is full penetration on your mother.
That is by far the worst I've ever heard.
Right. And the understanding is someone finishes in each scenario.
So I had to hear this be asked by somebody else. And of course the room went quiet and the gentleman answered. He was like, he got quiet and he was like, well, I guess I'm going to suck my dad's dick. And then that's all he said. And then he walked out and we're all like, at least he answered. And then of course no one asks again. They're just like, oh, okay, let's get our day started. Bye. Everybody just scatters because they don't want to be asked.
You don't want to answer that.
You don't want to be trapped with that.
I know.
I think we should ask. We should start asking that more often. Just random folks. Like, hey, real quick.
At my next business meeting, like, now the meeting's concluded. I'm going to go around the room and ask a question.
If you're all wondering why I gathered you here today for this little statement I'm going to make.
I would be fired immediately.
Yeah, but it'd be worth it.
That's probably the worst one. I haven't heard one to talk about.
But anyways, when I was saying that really happened, that post I sent you guys, that dude slept with his mom.
Did he sleep with her, or it was like an artificial insemination thing?
I'm going to say he slept with his mom because I think it makes the story grosser and funnier.
Yeah, it's weird. Yeah, the story was mom carries son's child? Something like that? She was carrying his kid. And they had like a little group photo with the dad there.
Yeah, but it was. Let me look because it was on. Let me look.
That's
I didn't
weird
like read
stuff.
into it. I just couldn't stop laughing when I saw the post. So
That's some weird stuff. We don't need to necessarily go that deep into it, but yeah.
yeah, it says
Yeah.
mom in Utah pregnant with her son's child at 56. There could be more to that. It could be a stepson. It was TMZ, so it could be all fake
Yeah, that's
bullshit.
true.
But it's still funny.
I'm sure that shit's happened though.
It's still funny.
I mean, yeah, it probably is because judging from the photo, they don't look like they're
Yeah, because that's his. Because like if she's being a
Meth addicts.
surrogate,
that's what I'm saying.
that's
She's
like
probably
okay.
a
She's
surrogate.
probably now we're gonna try to like boost her spirits.
Yeah, she's probably a surrogate, but that's still kind of weird to be like carrying around your son's child.
I don't know, man. I don't live in that world. I don't
That's
know.
odd.
I guess so.
You couldn't find another surrogate. I don't. You know what I'm saying? I don't understand that.
I don't know.
Why your mom?
Because for one, usually surrogacy costs a lot of money.
yeah, I
So,
guess so. You
your
gotta
mom
pay,
probably
you gotta
wouldn't
pay
charge
for
you
all
as
that.
much as, what's her name? Serena. So from your dream. I wouldn't charge her as much.
Yeah, yeah. I don't have to worry about the consequences in sex dreams.
It's the same thing when like you used to imagine like your sister's Barbie's growing to full size in the shower.
I had that thought too.
I did
Did
too.
every male have that
I
thought?
think it's just you and I because we're fucking gross.
I feel like every
Yeah,
guy had to have
I
that
had this
thought.
thought
Like, what if that
if-
Barbie was real and she
was
like
real.
was real size?
And you could have sex with them
Like
and
if
make
I
it
had
small.
like if I had magic powers, I would like
We haven't
make
talked about
her-
it on the show before, have we? I
What?
don't want to repeat what we've.
what?
We haven't talked about that on the episode before, have we?
Fucking a Barbie in the shower?
Yeah, well, full size Barbie, not like a little Barbie. It's gonna be. It turns into a real person. I mean, Pinocchio can do it.
We've done some
Barbie's
weird
good,
stuff
too.
in the shower. We talked about it. I think it's the first time because
Yeah.
when you said that, I'm like, me
course you have.
too.
Me too. Yeah, because my sister growing up used to always undress them. Like they'd always be naked.
Mm-hmm.
So you'd be like just doing your shower squats, whatever you're doing in the shower,
Right.
And you look ever you're collecting water and then dropping it, and you look over, and you're like, that'd be kind of cool. If she
Yeah,
was
exactly.
like
She,
grow
like-
full size,
Became a real girl.
and then I could do my thing, and then like I knew what I was really doing then.
Yeah.
And then they'd shrink back.
Like a Pinocchio type situation,
Yeah.
but you could, right.
Yeah,
But it was a Barbie.
that'd be cool.
Right.
Only bad thing is you don't want to get them pregnant because you're like, this Barbie looks weird. You know what I mean?
You know what? I think there's a comedian that has a joke about that, about a pregnant Barbie.
Probably you could just throw her out.
No, I think maybe I think there's a comedian that
No
has made
way.
a joke about. I swear to God, I think I have heard that bit.
Let me pull it up.
Where a comedian talks about exactly what we're talking about, where he had wished that he could fuck his sister's Barbies, but they like make them real size, and then he would have to explain to his dad why Barbie's pregnant.
I gotta watch what I'm typing in here.
Yeah, be very careful. We promised ourselves we were not going to talk about porn
We're
as
not.
much.
We're not.
We're right on the edge.
We're not.
Like we're skirting, and our searches are probably going to be porn results. Half of them.
No, there's just some weird shit on here. I don't think it's something I should probably Google.
Let's do like comedian. I'll try it. Comedian
It's okay if we
Barbie. Comedian Barbie bit. Pregnant Barbie.
Because that's just a lot better than what I was looking up.
Barbie.
You're gonna get some scary shit on there.
Oh my God! Let's just see. Yep, Andrew Stanley is the comedian Pregnant Barbie.
How long is the bit?
It's a minute and a half. This might be the one. I'm not sure.
Pull it up. Let's listen to it.
Let's see. I'm gonna give him a.
In America a couple of years ago, and there was this thing in America that went on sale, and it was huge in America, but there was huge protest
Never heard
about
of
it,
this
right?
dude.
What it was
I don't think this is it.
a new
We'll listen
Barbie
to it.
doll that went on sale, and it sold here last year as well. Did anybody see about this Barbie doll? It was called Pregnant Barbie.
He's just talking about.
This is
pregnant
did anybody
actual
see
Barbie,
this? This is
like an
completely
actual
true, right?
toy.
What it was
My
a
story was better
normal
than that one.
Barbie doll, all right? The Americans, but not for the same reason. They were on it. They were on it against the whole morality thing, and this is evil.
Meh.
Golly, Barbie. I swear.
Don't like it. I swear to God, I've heard that.
It's okay.
bit.
It's probably me. I talked about having sex with a Barbie.
Maybe.
Your mind will race, man. It goes to some evil, gross places. At least mine does.
Yep. Yep. The only difference I think between us and other people, most other people,
They won't admit it.
is we let it out.
Yeah, I don't care. I think it's fucking hilarious.
Actually, all my friends that I hang out with, they all let it out. Like, I don't want to be hanging out with some straight laced, boring ass person. Everybody that I hang out with is says some fucked up stuff, some funny stuff. I don't hang out with boring people. I don't understand. Like, what do you talk about? Like, Like I know there's some people that I know that they literally can only talk about
their kids,
or kind of generic adult generic things that people get into, like golf or bourbon. They'll talk about whiskeys and bourbons and shit, and
My dry bar.
cigars and they'll talk about like yard work. I'm like,
their dogs.
Get away from me. Like I don't know how people can do that.
I don't know.
I'm sure everybody is different in public persona than they are at like home life or whatever. But you're a lot more open at home. But still, there's a lot of boring ass people out there.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't consider myself to be boring. But I have asked Kyle before. I was like, "Is that why couples don't want to hang out with us? Because our house is so fucked up, and all of our content is disgusting."
Is this a real problem? Like people are not actually like not wanting to come hang out?
No, we've had
couples?
I talked this before. It's like where it's as you get older, people get set in their ways. You don't see friends as much anymore, and nor do you see couples. And it's
you got to plan everything out.
Yeah, it's got to be planned. So and then there's a small circle of people that had kids at the same time. They stay within their little circle of 5 or whatever. And told Kyle, like, it'd be funny if we showed up in the circle of 5 and we'd be the ones that are like not modest and like, oh, they're so crazy. Like, I don't know, everybody's so uptight.
And you can't really like make new friends necessarily because
I'm not good at making new friends,
especially as a couple, because you don't know if you go to these events, or I don't know how do couples meet other couples? Like,
so I can tell you this:
strangers.
I'll give you an example. Well,
because I feel like you run the risk of like running into like a swingers.
I've never had that problem or come close, but like Kylie's brought me into some of her friends years ago that she's been best friends with forever, and they were married already. I was brought in I'm married with Kylie now, but married into a new circle of other couples that I didn't know. She knew them, I didn't know them.
So yeah, but she already knew them. I'm talking about like both couples. Meeting each other.
You don't do that.
How does that happen?
You don't do that.
Does that even happen?
I don't do that.
Okay.
That sounds terrible.
I mean, that only sounds like swingers.
I've done the whole. Yeah, I don't know. I've done the whole like. I mean, trying to get after one lady is hard enough. Because we joked around about swinging before, and I was like, that sounds fucking exhausting. Like, no, that'd be super awkward and weird, and I don't know how people do it. Hey, if you do it and it works for you guys, hey man,
I know some people that have done it.
It's rock
weird.
on.
It's also the thing is it's people I would not have expected.
It's not. Apparently, that's a well-known community of like high-end people, like you said, that you wouldn't think are doing that, and you're like, holy shit, like what?
Yeah, I mean, it's just and not even like it's not even like a
it's not even attractive.
Not even
people.
like a high class. Yeah, it's all different types, and some of the couples that they've told me. They're like, yo, yeah, we swing. I'm like,
well, sometimes I'll see couples like that.
It. They look like a typical,
straight-laced
couple.
Well, if I see a couple like that, and like either the wife's gross or the husband's gross, I'm like, okay, I get it. Why one of you is probably really wanting to swing because that sucks.
But I feel like that's majority of the time. That's probably what it is. Is like one of them is like, I'm a peacock. You gotta let me fly, right?
Yeah, you really hold me back.
Like, you really hold me back here, and it's like creating a strain on the marriage.
Like
so she's like, fine, you can fuck some people.
Fine, go ahead,
but I gotta be there too, right?
I gotta get me something.
I just don't know how do you get into that?
Oh, dude, I have no idea.
You start off a relationship with that understanding, then you get married. Yeah, I guess, but I don't
there's
know
open marriages.
Yeah, that just sounds like a recipe for fucking disaster.
It is, and I don't.
Why get married?
That's what I said. What's the fucking point? Like, I don't know.
Just be together and have it. Like, there's no need to like take the extra step and get the government involved in all this kind of stuff. Have a ceremony. Like, there's no need for all that if you're gonna have an open relationship. Doesn't make sense to me. Thruples don't make sense to me.
You have like a dude or woman in there with the group,
especially when it's another dude.
Yeah, I can't.
That don't make sense to me at all.
I don't want another dick in my bed. That's just weird to me.
Exactly.
Like I don't want I just feel weird with like two dicks competing for one. Right. Like it's just weird to me.
Exactly.
And it's not only that, you might actually bump into the dude. Like that weirds me out. Like I don't want to be coached or like a pat on my back like for doing a good job.
Oh yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? Like I don't know.
Yeah,
that seems odd to me.
I've run across a couple thruples before.
But what dynamic was it? Another dude or another woman? What was it?
Other girl. I've never
like two girls and a guy.
2 girls and a guy.
Oh, I'm sure he had a lot to complain about.
Yeah, that makes sense. I think the way that one worked was the last thruple that I had met was the guy and the girl were married, and the third was a female, and she liked them both, so they both kind of did their thing. Sometimes they didn't always. They were dating. She was dating both of them, but not all. It wasn't all three at the same time. I think it's like she was just dating both of them, right? And then they brought it in, and then I think what ended up happening is the original married couple, they ended up getting pregnant, and so they. I'm pretty sure. I think how this went down is they
promoted her to
divorced.
nanny.
I think they divorced, and then he married the third girl, so that way they're all three are attached in some way.
Okay.
Like they've got a kid between the two, and then the other two are married, and she's now the stepmom to the
Which
kid.
they can play that.
Right. So
what's happening here.
they could all kind of like legally attached to each other at this in some form or fashion. They actually planned that out. They were like, we're going to do this because that way we're all like in this together.
What's funny is how
whatever.
it's funny how you're talking about, sexual material, if you will.
And this was secondhand knowledge, so I'm not sure exactly how true that
Sure.
was.
You didn't get an application.
Yeah, this was a friend. I knew the people, but I didn't. They didn't tell me this. I was got secondhand information.
It's funny how people don't talk about sex that much anymore. Not really.
If you go on the internet, it's everywhere.
Well, I know that. I just meant in
But in
general.
normal
It's just not. It's
conversation
never really
in person.
mentioned that much anymore. Like it was obviously when you're in high school or when you first start being promiscuous because like you bragged about it to your buddies or like one friend would do something new and you're like, holy shit, I hope I get to do that one day. Or they'll lie about it. Or they'll pretend they're like, a tomcat. Like, well, yeah, I rocked her world last night.
I feel like that's the only thing people talk about, even in normal conversation.
You talking back in the day?
Eventually, back in the day.
You talking like high school? What are you talking about? Are you talking about day to day?
You talking about people don't talk about sex?
Not in our. I mean, you and I do on this show, but like, and I give Kylie a hard time about it all the time because it's what we do to each other. So,
well, I think it's. We all talk about it at some form of fashion.
But if we talk about it, we're pigs. You notice that?
Yeah, but look at like the rise of these podcasts.
Yeah,
where it's all female podcasts, and they
Mean Girl Pod.
They let it rip.
Shout out Mean Girl Pod. I listen to a lot of their episodes, but I don't always agree with the shit they say. But
a bunch of them.
They've actually swayed. They weren't so much, and then. Excuse me, their content has switched over to a lot. Like it's mostly sexual stuff now.
Well, yeah, and not even just them. I mean, they're on the on one end of the spectrum, but even where it's like a podcast about just a married woman's perspective, married mom with 2 kids or something like that. She's got a podcast and she just talks about whatever. That subject does get brought up, and you'll have just like a housewife talking about it. It doesn't have to be some 20-something. Promiscuous chick in California. Like it could be all different types of people, or I think talk about it all the time now.
No, I may not listen to the right podcast then.
Right? Yeah.
Maybe in my own social circle.
I mean, nobody's talking about it at work because
Ew.
You know what I'm saying? That's weird. So the only time
I would if somebody brought it up,
right? Unless I'm there and we're like ripping gross. About something, right? Being gross. But yes, I mean
some of them will bring it up. I've heard it in passing, but I don't want to get involved because either they're gross or like I just don't want to picture it. So I'm like, oh, I don't want to get involved in this conversation.
You're talking about like some people. You think there's too many people that are, kind of old fuddy-duddies about it to where they it's like a subject you can't talk about. Is that what you mean?
That's what I mean. Like it's very like I don't know. Like for example, like Kylie and I have been around other couples before where we're like I don't want to say crazy couple. I'm not labeling myself as the crazy couple because I've already been called egotistical and stuff. Like I don't want to be sound worse. So that was the joke, by the way.
Well, you talking about like say you thinking that most people when you're having like a conversation and they need to say they'll say stuff like, yeah, we were the other night we were we were doing the thing.
And I'm like, dude,
and they have to be just say
fucking
it.
say
right,
it.
Exactly.
Yeah, because Kylie and I are pretty open.
Yeah, blowing her back out. Like,
oh yeah,
you'll just say it. Right, I get what you're saying.
Like for example, like I'll get carried away. We went out with I'll tell this story. We went out with a couple one night. I won't say the names on the show without his permission.
People are tiptoeing around it, is what you mean. Yeah.
But we were riffing back and forth, kind of like you and I do. But we'd never been out with them before for drinks and stuff. I knew them, but I'd never been out with drinks as a couples. and he was making a comment about something about sex. He's like, "Yeah, I did this on her," and I was just like, "Ah." Of course, me, I'm like, "Oh, one of us said that's right. Aim for that shit." And my wife, "Stop!" And I feel like somebody kicking me, and then she's on his fiance on the other side, and she's slapping. I'm just like, man, I was about to really let that fucking go. Shit like that. I'm like, why? Right. I'm like, because I'll get carried away. Because if you say something like you and I do, I'll try to one up it and make it way worse than it needs to be. But you gotta reel it in for your first time out with a couple.
I guess you'd have to reel it in. But the thing is, like, you and the other guy were like on the same wavelength,
same page,
right?
But, we were synced up.
And the thing is you, Kylie and this other girl were if he is doing that in public with another person that he had just met that day, that they talk about sex just like you and Kylie talk about sex with each other. Right, so why were both of the women being like, "You can't do that, you can't say that"? Like, yes, you can. Yes, you can.
Have you met? Let me ask you: have you met your female version of yourself? Have you met that person?
No.
Like a female you. That almost like your personalities are like it. Basically, if I don't say like looks, I'm not saying that. I just meant like your personality, your outlook on everything. But
if I did, I'd try to fuck it.
But right, but. Come here, you. Come here, you. I just meant like, for real, I have you, because I've met someone I've been told by, like, Kylie has a friend that the personality is a lot like mine. Like, we have the same, it's just weird because I've told Kylie before, I was like, her and I, like, really sync up. Just in that aspect of things, it's like a female version of me, or the humor, the banter.
If I met a female version of me, I would probably marry the person.
Well, I mean, if they're married, you can't. I mean, you can't go in there and like.
Are you talking about, have I met it that I?
Yeah, like it's a friend. I'm not saying like it's just like you, but that's other friends recognize like that she's just like you. Y'all are the same fucking person, but she's
sure, yeah, the female versions of me.
Yeah, I've only met a couple.
Yeah, only a couple. Yeah.
That question didn't last as long as I thought it was going to.
Well, I don't.
You just gave me a stare. You're like, yeah, I did. And I'm like, fuck, I should have worded that different.
I'm trying to think.
Your turn. You're next. Ask me something.
Well, yeah, I mean, one of my friends for sure. We've been friends for a long time. That we think a lot of the same things, the same way. I would say maybe not necessarily the female version of me in all respects.
Yeah,
and even in
like
most respects.
Vagina.
Well, yeah, like that whole thing. Obviously, we're different because of male and female, but I'm definitely would be more gross.
Yeah.
Right? I have not met a female version of me that is yammers on about fucking nothing and also gross. Because just a quick category of me is I fucked up thoughts, and I'll say them. Try to say the grossest shit of all time, right?
Yeah.
I'm also not very emotional person, right? And semi-intellectual. Like I like intellectual shit, right? That kind of thing, like politics and philosophy and all that kind of stuff, right? Okay. And I'm also super nerdy. So that's a quick little synopsis of me. I have not met the female version of that.
So let's do a special show where we try to find you a date from the show. Let's do that. God. That'd be cool. That might pick some fucking interest online.
Sounds like a goddamn nightmare.
Yeah, well, sorry.
This is going to go really well with that attitude.
I think it's going to be cool. Yeah, I'm like, great. We'll just cut that out in post.
So what do you mean?
I'll handle it. I'll handle it. Let me take care of it.
What do you? But what do you mean?
No, you'll be fine. I got it.
What's happening?
I got it. Just don't worry about it.
What are you going to like make a dating profile?
Look, man,
I've already tried all
I'm married to another silly, crazy person. Her and I as a team can figure this out.
Okay, you already know my stance on like getting set up.
I know everything. I know what kind of women you're into. I know everything. Kylie tried this shit the other week. We were at gymnastics. She's like, this woman walked by. This woman was not ugly. I don't want to sound like a dick. We talked about this on the show with Kylie was here. She walked by and I was like, she's like, well, Zach, I said, mm-mm. She said, what? Mm-mm. Not his type. She's like, what do you mean? I said, it's not. I'm telling you, it's not. I know.
Yeah, I'll be honest.
Let me be your guide. I'll handle this.
I would trust a male's opinion more than I would a female's opinion.
Of course you would.
Because the obvious, because you're a dude, I'm a dude, she's not.
She's a dude. We're a dude. We're all dudes. Yeah. But yeah, so I know. I got this.
You know what I mean? So
I got this handled.
Yeah. So right, because it basically goes down to like I would, so I know he would.
Actually, that's kind of how it works.
You know what I'm saying? That's
I'm
pretty
like,
much.
I'd probably hit that.
That's
he
pretty
would
much
too.
like yeah. It's basically like red or green.
I thought about
Go or no.
I thought about doing a semi raffle or something on our Facebook page to see if we wanted to bring on a guest star.
Well, before you get to that, my general, I don't like being set up. But I'll be honest, I've never actually been set up with a woman by a dude.
Oh, I got this.
So I don't know how that's going to go. I'm actually
this.
kind of curious. Most of the time, anytime I've actually been set up before, it's been by a woman. Well, I have been set up by before. Well, here's my. I hate whenever someone tries to do this, when they try to set you up with somebody.
Yeah.
It's almost worse than what we talked about before. It's almost worse than like scoping out their social media profiles beforehand.
Right.
It's almost worse because what they do is women tend to do this is they will talk that person up, and so they've got all this like inside information that is bullshit most of the time, right? It's exaggerations, and they're trying to like gas you up or whatever, and then they come and talk to you about it, and then they let it slip. It's like, oh yeah, I talked about you. I was like, why? You already created this weird kind of dynamic already going into it.
I know how it works.
I don't like that.
I've been on blind dates. I've online dated. I got this.
Well, I hate dating in general, so
I hate when you fucking say that.
Why? It's true. It's the most awkward interaction.
It's not awkward. It's fun as fuck. No, it's
not
awesome. Fun. Yes, it is.
It's not that fun.
It is that fun.
No,
it is that fun
for you.
Okay, well,
I just never really had.
Everybody's different. I understand that.
And I've never been on a first date to where I was like, this was fucking incredible. It's just not a thing.
You've never had one of those?
No, never. It's like, it's okay. Yeah, sure.
So how did you? But you've had a first love though, right? Like that.
Yeah, but that was.
But how did you get to the? Y'all never went on a date.
Because we were friends first.
Oh, it's fucking lame. You never went on a date though, as you became a couple.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, well then that'd be a first date. You're talking about like never known them,
or just met.
Okay, you're talking about a fresh
and you asked
date.
them out, or someone set you up, or whatever.
Right.
I'm talking about not a blind date, but basically a blind date.
I understand.
You don't know the person at all.
I got you. Yeah,
right. That's fine.
We're tracking.
That's not. Those fucking suck.
Well,
I hate all of those. I've never had a good one. The only ones that are good is the ones that I actually know that I have a good time with this person because we have had a conversation before in a non-romantic setting, and then you finally get to a point where you're like, I'm going to ask this girl out. I ask her out, and then it's
okay.
Great.
Well, what about? I find that very odd. That's so weird to me because I've had incredible like dates where I didn't really know them.
They're awkward. It's like
just fucking. But you relish in awkward. I don't understand.
Yeah, but Yeah, but I relish in awkward because then I'll like point out the awkwardness and then try to like dunk on somebody for being awkward. That's not something you want to do in a date.
It would.
So you have to hold that back.
I don't know. I've had some really awesome. I mean, even from like
she could like mess up her words. I'm like, oh, idiot! Like I can't do that on a date.
You probably could actually nowadays. You probably could, but no, like I don't know. Like kind of had an awesome first date. Like obviously it worked out great, but like I've had some moments before that too that were awesome. Like great first, like notable first dates that were fantastic. Had like the right amount of little awkward, but the right amount of like excitement because it's new. You don't know what to expect. It's just new. I love meeting people. So like that.
I think that's the difference. I think that's the difference. Is that you're very much more of a people person than I am. I am a social person.
You are. That's what I'm saying.
I get all that. But you just need to understand that you can't like. It's just a thing. I do not like first dates.
Okay. All right.
I don't. And again, I don't think. There's some people that do.
You're about to say I'm the fucking weird one in this.
But no, I'm not saying that. But what I'm saying is like. It's not that abnormal. Like
yeah. I just like to give you shit and make you sound like a freak because it's funny. But yeah, I'm sure that I know a lot of folks that don't like first date. They don't like
awkward. It's like you're playing a game of 20 questions. It's like a fucking interrogation. It's weird.
I guess I just treated it different because I don't know. I guess everybody just treats it differently or whatever.
And it's one-on-one.
It excited me.
And the thing is that there's also the other thing I don't like about it is there is an expectation I think put on the dudes is that they have to kind of be the drivers and be interesting and whatever. And I'm sure the women on their side they have their own frustrations and expectations that they put on themselves that they think they have to do.
Yeah.
And that right there already creates attention, and I don't like that. It's just not natural. And then the other thing with if something for whatever reason doesn't flow well, you say something that she doesn't really like register, and you're kind of like, oh fuck, like. it's just it's like the whole endeavor is, to me, it's like an interrogation where you're trying to avoid landmines, and I don't like it.
What did
The only ones that have been like that have not been that specific scenario are like the ones that they don't go anywhere. You know what I mean?
You talking like a one-night
One-night
stand type
stands,
thing?
that's what I'm talking
Oh
about.
my god!
Like they don't fucking go anywhere, so they don't matter. So you really, at some point, you realize like what we were both here for, and you're like, okay, we're both here for a one-night stand. So it doesn't really. Then the expectations, we now know what we're doing here.
Yeah.
And so now it doesn't matter what I say. Let's just cut to the chase, that kind of thing. Like,
God,
and those are not a good date. That's not a really date. That's just like a hookup.
One night stands are way more awkward than a first date. I would much rather go on first dates with those 40 women than have a one night stand.
No, one night stands don't.
God, those are. No,
I mean, I don't like doing them,
you.
obviously. But what I'm saying is awkward because they're gone. Fagazi, it's gone.
Fairy dust, but yeah, but then I don't know.
The awkwardness gone. There's no, and what's to be awkward by? Because at that point, I don't really care. That sounds fucking awful. I don't fucking. That sounds so bad. I don't fucking care what her opinion is.
I got mine. Close the door on the way out.
Or even leading up to it, it's like we don't need to know about like each other's like goals and aspirations here. I don't need to know what you think about the Palestinian-Israeli conflict. Like, it don't fucking matter.
You know what we need to do is on one of these times you need to tell some of your Tinder stories. Gosh, those are so good.
I had so many of those things saved.
Those are so good.
I screenshotted so many of those. No, I don't have them anymore. So
you put them on the chive though, did you not?
Oh, I might have one of them.
We need to pull that up.
I have to try to find it. The one I think I may have on there. Did I put it on the? Or did I just mess it?
I know one by heart that you told.
Well, you talking about the one where I impersonated a Jedi Master?
I know the one where the giraffe thing.
Oh, the giraffe. That was great. That was on Tinder. That was a text conversation.
But that was that
was a Tinder hookup.
Tinder date. Okay, Tinder hookup. Yeah. Okay, I got you.
I guess I could tell that story.
That was a great
you want to tell that story?
fucking story.
Okay.
What? Yeah, we got time.
So we're talking about like one night stands. Here's one.
Set the scene.
So I'll set the scene. So
once upon a time,
once upon a time, right? Scrolling through Tinder,
this was
a while ago.
5-6 years ago.
Yeah, probably something like that.
Because you were in the apartment still that we moved you into. That's right.
I was not. It was not the one we lived across from.
Not me. I was the one over off exit 11.
Yep.
That we moved you. Okay,
yeah,
got it.
So that was
pre-Grom Squad.
7 years ago, maybe.
Oh yeah, probably. Yeah,
something like that.
Go ahead.
Sorry. Whatever. The time doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Anyway, scrolling through Tinder as I was wont to do, and
judging women
while sitting on the toilet, and I get a match. Start striking up a conversation. It's going fine. She's ready. She's picking up what I'm laying down. She's liking the jokes, being me. And at this point in my Tinder swiping, I didn't really give a fuck. I just swiped everybody, and then if something landed, I'd strike up a conversation with them. And if I thought it might lead to something, then I would give an effort. If I was like, that's not whatever, and then I would just fuck with them after that, right? If I didn't think it was going anywhere. Sometimes,
sure.
Even if I got a match and I was like, oh, she's cool, she seems neat, I would still fuck with them. It just depended on my mood. But anyway, this one ended up, I think I was at work. I think I was at work, actually, because we were talking about getting off work. And I was like, yeah, I'm about to get off work. And she was like, yeah, I'm about to get off work in like a couple hours, or could we really use a drink? And I was like, here's an in. Cool, I'm getting off in like 3 hours. Let's go get one. Right? Boom. That was one of the, I don't remember exactly what I said, but I remember I felt pretty smooth about it, right?
Yeah.
So we coordinate, and she was like, I was like, so you want me to pick you up, or do you just want to meet me there, right? Give her the option.
She's homeless.
She's like, yeah, if you just pick me up, that'd be cool. I was like, okay, cool. What's your address? Well, come to find out, the reason why she needed to be picked up is because she doesn't have a car. She doesn't even have a license. I didn't find out till later. It's because she's like on her third DUI. So that was awesome.
Okay.
Where she doesn't have a license, got her car taken away. And also, so I get the address, I roll up, and I text her, say, I'm here, because she told me to text, don't come up to the door. I was like, okay, weird. Come to find out, the reason why is because she's living with her mom.
Okay.
Right? So red flag.
How old is this young lady?
She was 27.
Okay, got it.
26, 27, something like that.
I was just
At
curious.
the time. And I think I was pre-30, so I must have been like 28. I must have been 29, something
Ooh,
like
young
that.
gun.
So it may have been like 5-6 years ago then, somewhere around there. Man, time, I'm a real bad judge of time. But we were in the same age group, real close, so I think that's correct. But anyway, so I text her, she comes out, and we ended up going to a bar downtown. She seemed nice enough. Just trying to, having a conversation, blah, blah, blah. Everything's going good. Well, we get to the bar and have a couple drinks. She actually is kind of nerdy, so we're like talking nerdy. And she would periodically, she'd be like, I got to run to the bathroom. I'm like, okay, cool. She would go to the bathroom. Well, I kept noticing throughout the night, every time she go to the bathroom, she would come back, and she was getting a lot. We were having the same amount of drinks, really. Like, I would have a beer, she'd have a beer, and she was getting progressively more drunk than I was. So what she was doing is every time she would go to the bathroom, she was going to the bar and taking a shot, I guess for nerves or whatever.
Fuck.
So she was getting drunk real quick. And I was like, okay. Well, there was one point where we decided to play pool. So we went over to the pool area and we started playing pool. And there was one point to where I remember this clear as day. I was going down to take a shot, right?
Yeah.
And I took my shot, and then when I come back up, right, because I'm leaning on the table, and I come back up and I look at her, she gives me the up down. Right? You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I know
the
what you're
scan,
talking
the
about. Yeah.
up down. She looked up and down.
She ran
and,
you through her processor.
Right, and then like slightly bit her lip, and I was like, oh fuck.
Awesome.
I was like, whatever I'm
Really
doing,
flattering.
It's really working.
You were really
I'm really
peacocking.
I was peacocking big
Look at
time. I
this.
puffed out my chest a little bit. I was like, this. I wouldn't really do anything that spectacular, but whatever I was putting out there, she was really
Do
receiving.
you know
it.
which way the bathroom is?
Yes. Yeah, and I'm not a peacock type person either, so it was weird.
It was awesome.
So I was like, this is easy.
You slut.
Exactly. I'm a fucking stud, right? Exactly.
man.
It was, except that was really the reality. Is she was just a whore.
That's okay.
Which is fine. But shout out to all the whores. So she gave me the up down, and then I was like, I looked at her, and she's like, I don't have a curfew. I don't have to be at home. And I was like, I hope so. You're like 27
I
years
thought you
old.
were like, I don't have any panties on. You're like,
Right.
cool.
In my mind, I'm like, yeah, you're 27. I feel like that. Okay, why would you have a curfew at 27 years old?
I don't have school till the morning.
It
You're like,
just makes
what?
sense. It's weird. But she was trying to let me know, let's fuck, right? Like, I want to go back to your place.
If somebody tells you they don't have a curfew, it means they want to have sex.
Right. Exactly. Just FYI. It's the most awkward way to do it, but it's one way because it did work. So anyway, so I'm like, okay, all right. So I think we finished the game of pool, and then we were like, you want to get out of here? I was smoking at the time, so we did go out and smoke a few cigarettes,
Right.
And
Like you do.
like I did, and she would we're asking questions. She would tell me these stories about her exes, which is a no. Don't talk about your exes on dates, but she would anyway. So red flag. And then she told me that I finally asked the question or whatever. I was like, so why can't you drive? That's where she told me about the DUIs.
She's like, I'm a
and my
criminal.
license, all this kind of stuff. And she's like, I was like, so why are you living with your mom or whatever? And so she apparently it's a temporary situation because she got kicked out of her place in Kentucky somewhere.
Right.
I think it was Louisville, wherever it
For
was.
drinking.
No, it was because her previous boyfriend, ex, was a coke dealer.
Ah, okay.
Red flag. And they had a spat. And he ended up kicking her out, changing the locks, putting all her shit out on the lawn, and locking her out of the house. So she had to call her mom to come pick her up and get all her shit and bring her back down.
All right.
Right? Red flag. All right, cool. But she done gave me the up, down, and the green light.
Three
I'm
strikes,
like,
don't mean shit.
I'm like, what are red flags? Who gives a shit?
Like, she bit her lip, guys.
She bit her lip. She was like, we're doing this thing. And then she's telling me all the stuff about her coke dealer, ex-boyfriend.
And she's a
all this
criminal.
stuff. Right. Right. Odd. And then then I didn't find this out till later, but during the date, she was texting her ex about how she was on this awesome date.
Right.
On her social media profiles,
Okay.
and was saying all this kind of stuff. She didn't. We weren't like friends on Facebook or whatever. So she couldn't tag me or whatever. But she was like describing like me and the date and everything like that, like on Facebook. It was weird with her ex.
She was getting his approval.
She was trying to get a rise out of him. I think is what it was. But I was like, whatever, you're getting a rise out of me, so let's go.
Yeah, I'm rising as we speak. I'm 6 to midnight right now.
So I'm like, all right. We finally head to the parking garage to go back to my place, and I can't believe I'm telling this story.
I fucking love
and
it.
on the way there, I'm like, it's like 1:30 in the morning. I'm like, all right, let's go. We're doing this thing. The time is right. It's getting appropriate. We've had enough drinks.
I'm getting seepy.
Right. Right. I want to be up all goddamn night. So she drops me with this like, I'm hungry. I'm like, hungry? Okay. What do you want? You want to stop somewhere or whatever? Right, stop somewhere? And I was like, but it's like 1:30 in the morning. At this time, I think where I was, there was no good place to go. The only thing that was open was like this really divey place. And she ended up mentioning it. And she was like, oh, they're open still. And I was like, oh, fuck. And it's like a sit-down place. It wasn't quick
Where the fuck was it?
It was...
I don't remember.
I mean, I don't want to drop their name in this story specifically. But it was a divey kind of diner type
Got
place,
it. Okay,
right?
cool.
And where they serve like breakfast food. It was like a IHOP or a Waffle House.
Yeah,
type,
I got you.
right?
I got you.
So anyway, we sit down. And I'm like, okay, fine. Let me just... And I sat down to order. Of course, there's a bunch of mutants in there because it's like 2 in the morning.
It's the kid with the Batman cape.
Yeah, he was in there. There was probably a couple of drug dealers and some homeless people, right? And then also there's probably like some old man with dementia, sitting in there because he thinks it's like 3 in the afternoon or
old
something.
war vet.
Right? Whatever.
Yeah, I got you.
So there's all different types of people in there, and then us on this like first date where I'm trying to get the fuck out of here. But anyway, so the waiter comes up and asks, what do you want? And I'm like, I'm not hungry. I want to go bang.
I want to go bang. Kids still say bang?
I
Kids
guess.
still say bang?
But I'm like,
I want to go smash.
I thought we already had an understanding here.
I want to get some ass, man.
What is happening here? Why are we here? And so I was like, just some bacon and eggs, like something simple I can just nibble on, right? Mm-hmm. You can't go wrong with some good bacon and eggs. She orders a Philly cheesesteak at 2 in the morning. I'm like, peppers and
can't wait to taste that later.
Like, really? I
want some liver and onions.
I know, dude. And then while we were eating, still having conversation, one of the things that came up was about smoking and wanting to quit smoking.
Right.
And I was like, I had quit smoking before. This actually might date the time period correctly, because I had quit for a year and I ended up taking Chantix to quit, and it worked. So I mentioned that. I was like, I took Chantix one time, and it really worked, and I might try to do it again because it's been long enough to where you can take it again. She's like, I tried to do the Chantix, but they wouldn't prescribe it to me because of my other issues. I'm like, excuse me, other issues? What's up? She's like, I'm bipolar. I'm like, red flag.
She bit her lip. Right.
So but red flag coming directly at me, and I just dodge it. Like Neo in the Matrix. I'm just like, all these red flags flying at me, and I'm
trying
just
to get laid.
Trying to get my dick wet. Right, exactly. So that's exactly how it was going down. And so, I think we're at like red flag number like 6, 7, 8, something like that, somewhere around here. At one point during the date, she's a lot drunker than I am. Not like completely
she
like
won't be after this
plastered.
Philly. She'll be getting bubble guts after this Philly.
But she's not, she's not like falling on the ground drunk or whatever, but she's definitely is drunker than I am at this point. And because she was like sneaking shots while going to take a piss or whatever. In fact, in retrospect, she probably lied about going to the bathroom.
That was a lie as well.
But
can't trust this bitch at all.
Exactly. She's a liar, bipolar, she's a whore.
Criminals are hot.
She likes dates drug dealers and like the fuck. Anyway, so there's one point I look away, at some of the mutants in the establishment, and I turn back, and she must have taken a bite of this Philly cheesesteak and dropped some of its insides, the meat and onions,
Philly and
filling,
meat.
the filling, had dropped it into her lap. And so by the time I turn around, she is picking up a clump of filling, meat and peppers and onions, and puts them back into the sandwich and then goes back at it. And so I'm like, this bitch. Like, she's just...
You're starting to question if it's even worth it at this
Right,
point.
I'm like, red flag. Right. But I'm like, I know I like them sloppy, but whatever. So I had to get... It was bad.
Crazy drunk bitches.
So I was like, are you done with this? This in my mind, I'm like, are you done with this
and what
fucking
time
sandwich?
is it right now? Is this like 2?
By the time I think we leave that place, I actually get back to my house, my apartment, it was like 3 a.m. Something
All
like
right,
that.
got it.
Okay, so we finally get back there, get in my place. We're sitting on the couch. I think I like turned Netflix on and just watching something. And then I because of all the beer and I guess bacon and eggs and maybe it was just whatever that time of night, I had to shit. Like I always do. I always have to shit. So I run upstairs real quick because I know the bathroom. I blow up the other bathroom upstairs. It was fine. It wasn't like a fucking sideshow up there, right? But I do my business. I come back down. I sit down on the couch and I hit her with my famous.
I just took a big shit.
I hit her with my tried and true. You want to make out, right? So we start fooling around.
Is that what you hit her with? You want to make out?
Yeah, 100%.
I still use that line.
It works.
It's a good one.
Yeah, it works. Yes, tried and true. You know, don't knock the classic. Anyway, you're kind of a gentleman. You're asking. You don't want to assume. But I really, although with this person, I could have assumed. Like fuck. But anyway, so we start fooling around, and clothes start coming off, and then
hope you wipe good.
Pants start coming off, and then it's about to happen. I'm like,
all right,
I need to
wrap this up.
I need to wrap this situation up.
Makes
right?
sense.
And so I'm like, fuck, I don't have any in the house. I wasn't prepared. I was like, they're in the truck. God damn it. So I end up getting up, going outside to my truck,
naked,
full staff. Like I'm at full mass.
God,
naked.
the door would have locked.
Oh my God, that would have been awful. She would have like, what if she did it? It's like, I'm living here now. She's like, because she's been living with her mom. She's like, this is her plan all along. And of course, I can't call nobody if I'm locked out of my own apartment naked. I didn't bring my phone or nothing.
She just wanted to.
Yeah, dude. All I did is is unlock the truck and ran out there to get the condom and to come back in. So any of the neighbors were peeking outside what's going on. They definitely saw my bush. No, I had already had made that mistake. I trimmed my shit. This is post-Bush incident.
Now you're like a little kid.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, now I'm like dolphin smooth. And I couldn't grow a beard to save my life, so it was just hair on top. That was it. I was just dolphin smooth.
She's in the window watching.
Right. Giggling. Starts rummaging through my fridge. She's still hungry. But anyway, back to the story. So I go back in, I do the deed. It was fine. It wasn't
in the living room?
Yeah, in the living room. I was like, I just blew it up upstairs. I'm not going to walk her past
your pheromones.
my porcelain throne where I just blew it up. No,
I'll mark this up here. This is my area.
That might ruin the mood, and definitely don't want to take her upstairs. So we just did it here, right? And did the deed. Like I said, it was fine. It wasn't. I don't think
it's like pizza.
It wasn't my best performance.
It's like pizza.
It certainly wasn't hers. Nothing to write home about. But whatever.
It's sex.
Sex
is sex. You still got yours.
Sex. Still got mine.
You're still winning.
Right. And then so we're I'm sitting there, and you have to have the awkward kind of like you can stay here, you can crash here, it's fine.
I mean, at this point, it's probably 4 a.m.
Yeah, exactly. I was like, it's. I think I referenced the time. I was like, it's 4 a.m. More like 3:15.
Okay, well, I was trying to give you a little more time.
Right.
I figure after a well-rounded shit, you probably had a little more time on your belt.
Right,
but she had a Philly.
I'm not giving her a full hour. Absolutely not.
Absolutely not. Like, sorry, bitches, come at a bad time.
But anyway, so whatever the time was, it was super late, and I was like, more than welcome to stay here. That's totally fine with me. And then she was kind of like beating around the bush about it, and I was like, it's fine. You can stay here. And she's like, well, I have to work in the morning. I was like, or I can take you back home. This is your show. You tell me what you want to do.
You're like, I did my part.
Fine. Right. We've already turned the corner here. we're now on to, we don't have to play this game. But anyway, she thinks about it, and then she's like, oh, well, I guess it's probably best just take me home. I'm like, okay, cool.
But you're inside, you're probably like, fuck.
I know. I was like, fuck. So I got to get my clothes back on, the whole thing, and I've got to I can't be, driving around town, naked. So I've got to put my shit back on. Or I really just wanted to go to bed at this point. But
right.
Anyway,
bitch, go to sleep.
So I take her home and to her mom's house, and she goes in, and we do the whole. This was fun. Yeah, I'll talk to you.
Wasn't really that fun.
Text me later. Like, yeah, sure thing. Right, the whole thing. So,
sure thing. Get out of my truck.
Right, that whole thing. The pleasantries that you do at the end of the date. And or end of one night stands. I don't know. I don't have that. I've not had that many, so I don't really know what's the proper protocol there.
I don't know.
Whatever.
I had one.
So she goes back to her house, and I'm driving home, and I immediately get back to the place. I crash immediately. I'm dead asleep because it's like 4:30 in the morning, whatever time. It's like sun's about to come up at this point. I'm dead. I did not want to expect to be out that late, especially since I had worked the day before already. So I'm like running on no sleep. That's probably the reason why the performance was kind of like meh. But I awake the next morning to some text messages.
Right.
From her. I'm like, okay, cool. Had a good time, yada, 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 that kind of thing. I was like, yeah, me too. It was fun, blah, blah, blah.
Liar.
And then she sends a picture of a stuffed animal that's a giraffe. And I wish I still had the picture, but the sheets, I'm pretty sure they were like Batman sheets.
Yeah, it
was weird.
Because you came to work you came to work that Monday and shared all this with me.
She had Batman sheets on the bed and a giraffe stuffed animal. And I'm like,
didn't she give you their names?
Yeah. So my first thought was like,
how old was she?
Like, was this like a Benjamin Button situation? What the fuck? Because she was clearly 26, 27 years old. Like, there was no mistake whatsoever. But on the inside, was it like Robin Williams and Jack? Right? Was it that kind of thing where it was like she looked like,
I'm
40,
13,
but she's acting right. I was like, what the fuck is going on here? And she sends this picture or whatever, and I pushed past that because I was like, obviously, whatever. I'm just making a joke. But she says, "Oh, this is George," and I'm like, "Cool." And then she sends another picture, and it's the exact same picture, and she says, "And this is Jeffrey," and I'm like, "Okay,
those are really nice giraffes."
It's the same picture, and then she corrects herself, sends a third photo that's a different stuffed giraffe, and said, "My mistake. That was George again. This is Jeffrey."
You're like, "I'm sorry."
I'm like.
It's an uncanny resemblance.
Exactly. I was confused. I was like, I'm glad you cleared that up because I was really concerned. Right. I needed to see what this other giraffe looked like.
Where the fuck is Jeffrey?
Right. And this goes on. I don't know what to do with it. I just kind of ignore it. I'm like, cool. And she's going on and texting me throughout the day. The next day, I think it was like a Sunday, and I was hanging out with some of my buddies. I think I ended up. This went on actually for a couple of days, I think, because the next time when I ended the conversation, I was in another town, so I definitely didn't go that randomly during the day. So I think it was like during the week we went on the date, and on the weekend I was like in the Nashville area, and I was crashing at a friend's house.
Right.
So the next morning we're all hungover, and she's still texting me. So it was like 3 days later or something like that. And eventually I finally was like, this is done now. Like, this is not going anywhere. Like, I appreciate it, but
I fed you, I bedded you. What else do you want?
What do you want?
Fuck.
I was a good host, right? Exactly. I gave you a mediocre performance. Like
shit,
right,
man.
Exactly. I gave you had a free meal on me.
Yeah.
Right. Obviously, you had like 6, 7, 8 shots, or how many shots you had. Right. I paid for the whole bill. Right. Exactly. So finally, she was upset or something like that. I was like, at this point, like I just want to get out of her because she's obviously something.
You're gonna be a lamp.
And now all of a sudden, those red flags are coming back up, and they're like, "We tried to tell you."
Yeah, you're gonna be a lampshade in your own apartment.
Exactly.
If I can't have you, no one can.
Right. Yeah. So one night stands are dangerous. Just saying. You got to be careful. pay attention to red flags. For me, at the time,
We're weak.
I was just like,
We're weak.
I was in that particular headspace where I was like, I don't give a fuck. But I should have given a fuck because I could have been
Flag number 12.
I could have been a human lampshade
Yeah, dude. Or met her crack dealer ex-boyfriend.
or something like that.
Hey, motherfucker. Like, oh, great.
Yeah, and it also in the back of my mind, I was like,
She could have
fuck,
drugged you.
she actually like knows where I live, which is not
Well,
a good
you
thing.
weren't there very long afterwards, so we were fine.
Yeah, maybe she didn't, write it down. Or something.
You had to ever ask her mom for a pen and paper
Yeah, exactly.
right next to her coloring books.
But yeah, that was very fucking weird. The whole
a good one.
whole giraffe thing, the Philly cheesesteak. I mean, that's just it was odd. It was an odd,
I mean, the least you could do is feed her before you
Thing.
fuck her.
right? I guess, but I was like, drive through something.
And I
quick.
like how she was like, I'll have a Philly cheesesteak with a large milkshake. Like, fuck, you're
See,
going
I
to
know,
the chair. I'm not
she's
going to
on the-
murder you tonight.
She was like a last meal.
Like, you thought she was going to do some wild ass shit. She's like, I need my strength. For what?
Exactly. Yeah, that was the whole thing was weird. I'm sure there was like many other red flags I just didn't notice, but that someone would have pointed out to me.
I love that story.
Yeah, so cautionary tale, folks.
I really enjoyed that.
Yeah, I know you always get a kick out of that one.
I love that one.
I got quite a few, in which I actually did get the go ahead. I had to get approval from a couple of people on some of the stories that I've held because I don't want to. Some other people are involved in these stories too.
And I can't. I have to get.
So I
I
don't wanna
can't.
just out
There's
people.
stuff I can't really. I don't like scary stories. There's some stories I can't. I'm not going to tell because I'd have to like ask people if it was okay if I tell the story. So I'm like, I'm not going to.
Well,
say.
I did that just in case.
You did. I
that.
haven't talked to these people yet.
And
about
it's not
stuff.
like I'm going to have like a special where I'm spilling all, but I just want to be preemptive. If the
That's how I
subject
am
comes
too,
up
yeah,
and now I feel like I can say whatever story
if there was
I
like
want.
if I didn't like know some of these people still, like,
Yeah.
I would let it all out.
Yeah, there's really only one other person I still needed to talk to in case the subject comes up. There's a story that I may end up saying that I still need to ask him if it's cool. Of course, everyone's like, don't say my name. I'm like, it's fine. I won't say your name.
Because I have
In
friends
fact,
that
I
listen
enjoy
to
kind of like just making up people's names.
Well, I have friends that listen to this that I've either dated before or like
Yeah.
we're close with. So I'm like,
Right.
I probably should watch what the fuck I say.
Right.
So I mean, it was a long time ago. So it's it's water under the bridge. But
Yeah, and I don't think I will offend Giraffe Girl. I'm pretty sure that was. I don't remember what her name was because in my phone
Serena.
after she sent me that in my phone, she was Giraffe Girl.
I like that.
So that's all I remember her as. I don't remember her actual name. It was just Giraffe Girl. I sound like such a piece of shit.
She was pretty cute if I remember right. She was cute.
Yeah.
But there was some sketchy markings. You could tell it was something. I think it was just because you said she was a whore.
Yeah, I mean, it's red flag.
There's
red
nothing wrong
flags
with a good
abound.
whore. I'm not-
There's just
I'm
so many
not-
red flags, and I just ignored them all.
Yeah.
And everyone does love that story. But because my thing is like, would you have acted any differently? I don't know. You know what I'm saying? You probably wouldn't have, especially because she gave you if a girl you thought was cute, obviously you went on a date with her, and she was actually kind of nerdy. She was cool. You're having a good conversation. She gave you the up down early enough in the date, to where you're like, this is happening.
I've been on a first date,
so you know that you can't really fuck it up unless you go full weird or something like that, and then she just keeps throwing red flags at you.
I've been on a first date before where it was online where we had talked for like a week or two and we finally met up in person. But we went to dinner and stuff, but like we went to a few I can't remember, was it one of the malls or somewhere, and she like went to like a Vicky's Secret place. Like, this is the first date. Like, I'm not gonna take her through the Ithaca store and pick out underwear that I'm gonna buy. That we happen to walk through, and I'm just like, of course, me being young, I'm like, this is fucking cool. Like, so we go through, and I'm just like, you kind of figure out what's going on with where, and then like, I was just like, I don't think we're supposed to be in here on the first date. Something's not right.
Right.
Of course, me in my mind, I'm like, oh, I'm not gonna get to see some of this. I didn't, but yeah, like that. There's some, like you said, some not red flags, but there's some awkwardness to it that you said can be kind of.
It's something you have to navigate.
Yeah, you gotta navigate the waters.
Right, and so my thing is, as far as first dates go, that's probably the best one because that's the best story. That came
I
out
was
of it.
always nervous about. I guess as a man, from my perspective, I never was like overly confident in what moves to make, what not to do. Like I always, base
neither.
everything off film. So do what?
Me neither.
Yeah, so I'd be like, do I put my hand on her back? Like, I didn't know what to do. Like, do I go in? Like, I still got nervous trying to grab somebody's fucking hand. Like, I would, it's just, I was always terrified of doing the wrong thing.
I think I probably had this. I probably had the same problem.
Took me years to break that.
I've talked about this before with some people. As one of my, I guess, flaws or whatever you want to say is I do have a hard time transitioning to the romantic.
Yeah,
that makes sense. Like I can have a blast to hang out and flirt and do all of that, but when it comes down to actually like transition to like, okay, now it's like serious mode in a romantic sense.
Yeah,
I have trouble transitioning to that. That's probably the reason why my classic is I want to make out because then
I still do that.
Right, because the reason I do that, and this is such a someone's told me that's such a pussy way of doing it. But,
no, it's not.
But it seems to work.
I still do it to this day.
I've been told that that's such a kind of a bitch way of doing things, but it was like you should just make the move. And I was like, yeah, but.
Have you ever had your head turned before on somebody?
Well, no.
Go fuck yourself. That is the worst feeling. I am done with that.
Yeah.
Well, I don't have to worry about it now. But
the reason why you want to make out, and if you say it that way, also the reason why it works is because if they're amenable to it, if they want to, their answer is yes. They'll be like, I don't know. What do you want to do?
It's
that's also, a yes, and you're like, yes, boom.
It's also
and then you just go in.
Yeah, it adds a little flirtation.
You're already kind of going in as it is,
yeah.
But you're just because you're in this. You're like sitting right next to each other, face to face, whatever. You're like already in a close proximity, and he's like, you reach to a point in conversation or something where there's a lull. It's kind of quiet, and then when it's an awkward silence, right?
Out.
And then you're just like, want to make out.
If
they're not down for it, they'll be like. Get out of here! You crazy,
right?
And so now like, okay, they don't want to make out.
Yep.
They don't want to go any further. Got it. I read you loud and clear. They're just going to play it off as a joke, right? Because it can be read either way. But if I'm kind of like want to make out, and she's like, no, stop. I'm like,
don't look at me like that.
Then I just go in.
That's fine.
Right. I just go in, and of course that's the reason why I
still do that.
That one.
I still use it. I'm married. I still use it.
Right.
9 years this year.
Oh, yeah, that's even better. Whenever you're in a lifestyle relationship,
I still do
pull that one all the time.
I'll be like, we'll be just very much. I'm like, this movie kind of sucks. Do you want
to make out?
Should I go over there and have sex? You think?
This armrest lifts up. Look at that.
So the movie sucks. You can blow me.
Right?
Yeah,
exactly.
That doesn't work. Yeah, I still do that.
Yeah, that's
yep.
It's a
that
good
whole
move.
movie bullshit where the moon's right and you move in and it just happens to work. Go fuck yourself.
Who does that? I don't know. Who does that? Does that happen?
No. When I used to try to follow along the romantic lines of films I had seen, and everybody knows if you listen to the show enough, I'm a sucker for one of those. It doesn't fucking work.
Yeah, life is not a Nicholas Sparks movie.
It would be cool if it was,
right.
But it's not.
Those moves don't work.
Because they'll go in and I'm like...
Where they lock eyes and like they see the stars and they just immediately just know
those
exactly
are cataracts
what to do.
and it's bullshit.
Right, exactly. Yeah. She has a milky eye.
She's got a milky eye that doesn't see very well.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's why it works.
Yeah, real life is more awkward.
I've done I've had the head, fuck that. Nope.
Yeah, I've never had the actual like swerve.
Oh God, I've had a bunch of them. That's with me reading the fucking room wrong.
Yeah,
I've done it.
I like to be sure of the room before I go in.
5 times. I've had it happen to me 5 times.
I play the odds. I like to be sure of the outcome before I make the decision, if that makes sense.
Yeah, one I went in for it. I'm not gonna say it. Like I said, I'm not gonna say names because they probably listen. One was, I had been like into her for a long time. Like she had a boyfriend. I was always the guy that she was a real good friend with. She'd tell me problems with her boyfriend, whatever. And they finally split up, and I was like, it's destiny. It's time. And she'd shut up at my folks' house, and I went out in the car with her, and we were hanging out, and of course, I read the room wrong, obviously. And I was like, oh, this is my time to shine. I was like, oh. So I went in. I was like, don't. And I'm like, fuck. Because you feel like you can't get out of the car fast enough. I'm like, yeah, you're right. I was just kidding. Okay, bye. You would have got and just go hang yourself in the back of the house. But I've had some where I read it wrong, too. Like, I went in there. She's like, what are you doing? And I was like, what are you doing?
Oh, yeah.
And that was awkward. I've had the full head turned back up like, oh. And I'm like, oh. It's fucking awful. It's the worst.
Yeah.
It's like not being able to get it up for an exciting moment. That's what it's like.
I can't say
No, never happened.
I've never been swerved before.
God. You're lucky.
I've been, verbally rejected before, but not like that. Where I say, hey, you want to go out or you want to, I kind of like you more than a
Have some
friend, or
sex,
or I want to pursue this further, or
Wanna get a
whatever,
filly?
something to that along those lines, and they're like, oh, I kind of see you more as a friend, or whatever. So I've been shut down like that before, right?
I'm glad you said that.
But I've never actually like gone in for the makeout session and get denied.
Speaking of like, when you have like you work up some. This happened to me. This was senior year.
Okay,
At the tuxedo shop here in town.
gotcha.
I got suited. There was a girl and I thought was really cute. And I was like, you know what? I'm gonna try this move where you just walk and be like, I know this is weird, but I'd like to take you to dinner. Like, I'm gonna go for it. Like, just try it.
Full
Never before.
confidence.
Full
Big
fuck.
sack.
I was terrified.
Right,
Yeah,
all sack.
I was all balls. And I was like, I handled this. I ran in there. Hey, you want to? Oh, I'm like, oh my god, here it comes. You've dated like one of my friends before, so that'd be kind of awkward. I'm like, are you? I was like, which one? And she told me, because at this point now I'm offended and mad, so I want to get down to what the fuck just happened. Which one? She told me. I was like, she dumped me for her ex-boyfriend, you bitch. And so I left. So
That doesn't matter. You're tainted goods at that point.
I'm tainted goods at that point. Yeah, we didn't have sex. I never had sex with that girl. And then, so of course, this is going on a few years now. This was senior year, whatever. So then I've seen that same girl like a couple of years like through college, and I was just like I never did get over that. That still fucking makes me mad.
The thing is, there's girl code and guy code when it comes to that kind of thing about dating exes. Your buddy's dating your ex or whatever. I honestly, I don't have any evidence for this, but this is just my gut feeling that guy code is stronger than girl code. Because if the girl really really likes the ex of one of her friends, she'll
get him.
She'll do it.
Yep. Now there's rules to the exception. We're not saying all chicks don't get fucking mad.
And there's exceptions to the rule. The guys break the guy code, but I feel like guys are really a lot more because I don't want to go delve too deep into psychology of it because I'm not a psychologist. But
don't do that because you're not.
Right. But I feel that my instinct is that guys tend to be like, okay, she's off limits. Okay, well, I'm just going to boom someone else. So they don't. It's not. They don't hang on one girl like that of some a buddy's ex. You know what I'm saying? If he says, she's off limits, cool, dude. Slam some beers and go. Whatever. Like they just move right on. They don't dwell on it. But I feel like. Girls, on the other hand, I feel like they're a lot more sneaky about it. They can get sneaky about it, yeah, and they justify it in their minds better than guys would, right?
I agree with that.
It does happen. I mean, I definitely have, run.
What you're saying is men are better. That's fine.
I was in a fraternity and hung out with sorority girls too, so I've seen all the different types of stories and dynamics and people.
Now I've seen some
crazy shit.
I've seen some shady ass dudes go after some.
Yeah, I've seen some of that too. So I'm not saying guys don't do that. I'm just saying that I think guy code is stronger than girl code.
I agree. I would agree with that. But there are rules, like you said, there are exceptions to the rule. So
yeah. So oh man, them's were the days.
I don't want to get. We can.
I
keep saying we need to do a special do some throwbacks.
We've done that before. We did do.
Yeah, we did. That's right.
A throwback on like frat days and like early 20s and all that kind of stuff like that. But sometimes I think you need to. If we had bring up some people that we lived through during that time period. Because a lot of stories that I don't remember or I just don't. They're just not on the queued up in my brain to where generate some. They would unlodge some memories here.
Let me do that. I'll bring Garrett on next week.
That'll be kind of fun.
Let me see if he's not working next week. We'll bring him on the show Friday because he grew up, since 7th grade. Yeah, and then he ran around with you two with us all together once. Yeah, we'll do that. We'll have to bring him on.
We also ask him about what's it like to follow your hopes and dreams.
When you do that, that's right. What's it like actually?
What's it like actually?
Plus, he's a new dad now. We could really
liking what you do, like loving what you do.
I know a bunch of people could actually call him and ask, like, what's it like to enjoy what you do for a living? Like
one of my buddies, he went full like balls to the wall. He was like, "I'm going to be a
gigolo."
No, that was me. I don't have the frame for it. Right, he was like
a peg for every hole.
He was going into the family business, and the family business was
a doctor,
military pilot. Right, that was the family business. So he was gonna do it. He only went to college because he wanted to be an officer, so that he could go to flight school, so he could fly military aircraft. That's what he wanted to do, jet specifically. That's what he's doing.
That's cool.
I think he's in fucking Portugal right now.
Yeah.
So you know what I'm saying? Like
I'll get him on.
It's like I'm doing this thing and nothing was gonna fucking stop him, and he did it.
I'll get him on.
Right.
Because Garrett's one of our original guys from our podcast 5-6 years ago. We'll do that. I'll bring him on.
Awesome Sauce. Back in the day. I think those 2 episodes are still floating out there if anybody wants to check
They
it
are.
out.
They're still on SoundCloud. Yeah, dude. I listened to them before we started the show.
Yeah, well, how old is that? Like 5 years old?
6.
6 years old. 6-year-old podcast. We had 2 episodes called Awesome Sauce. It was me, Josh, and Garrett a third.
Yeah.
And we did 2 episodes. And why did it burn out? I don't know.
It was like pop culture stuff, and it just kind of faded. We just kind of fizzled.
Yeah, I guess so.
It was something we didn't really want to pursue, I think, and everybody got so busy, and we just
I think so. I think that was at the time we liked our jobs. Was what it was.
Well, we just got occupied with other shit, so it just didn't. Yeah,
you were in the midst of I think at
we
time
just had Harper.
You just had Harper, right? I think that was kind of the other thing. And
it's okay.
Garrett wasn't married yet at the time, but I think he was with her.
Yes.
Yeah. So
yes. Now wife.
New relationship. Right. So I get it. I was like, fuck you guys. I'm gonna do it myself, and then I never did it.
Right. Got all sad and shit. We'll get a Philly.
Right.
A whore.
Right. So if you want a throwback, then go check out Awesome Sauce on SoundCloud. Is that the only place that's at SoundCloud?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. So we couldn't afford much else at the time.
Maybe what I'll do is I'll pull them off SoundCloud, and we technically have the rights to them, so it's like
They're
whatever.
Mine. Yeah.
Then I might do a bonus re-release of them. I'll listen to them. Bonus
I
re-release.
listened to them.
On
They're
this
pretty
channel.
good. I can do that. Well, bring us to a close, my man.
All right. Yeah. So while I pull this up, tell people what to do.
Oh yeah, while you do that, let me say something real quick.
Okay.
So I just got the Facebook page fired up, if you will. So I've also, if you guys have any suggestions, I've asked before. I know the page is relatively new. Don't be fucking shy. You got time. Just comment, drop something in, because we ask for topics. We're not going to completely structure our show around what viewers want. But however, I would be up to do a show or two on if you guys have topics you'd like to hear us rant about or discuss. And I even put in the post, if it's something stupid, we're not going to do it. But if it's some good topics, we'll do it. So like I said, it don't really matter what it is. It could be work, sex, love. I don't care. Whatever it is, throw it out there. Wouldn't mind mixing it up with having a show that listeners wanted to hear. I think that'd be kind of a cool dynamic.
Yeah, we've of course, right. Yeah, comment. We want to know your thoughts. We do appreciate every listener. Even though we joke about like sharing 10,000 times, and we're trying to get to a certain listener count.
I mean, it's not asking for much.
We do it because we enjoy doing it, and we appreciate everybody that listens.
Yeah, man.
Blah 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 blah.
Yeah. Blah blah blah. I'm a dirty tramp.
I'm a dirty tramp.
I'm a dirty tramp. Shout out Draft Girl. Thank you for this episode.
Yeah. I was about to say R.I.P.
I feel like you killed her. R.I.P. Draft Girl.
Draft Girl. That's the darker side of Tinder.
Wherever you're lying.
Exactly. I'm sure she's in another, meth den somewhere.
Fuck.
Or in a mental institution. In retrospect, she was probably not all there. But anyway. All right. Bye, guys. We're going to get out of here before this gets worse. Peace, y'all.